Good morning, everyone, and welcome, welcome, welcome. It is 2026, a brand new year, and we are very excited to be back in studio with the Creative Voices family. I say family as we have a slight change to how we approached our program last year, which I think and hope and pray will be as exciting for you, our listeners, as it is for us. So in studio with me today, I have my co-host, Lorianne Peart-Phillip. So last year, for those of you, I almost said yesterday, time seems to fly so fast, but last year, those of you who have been tuning in, and we thank you so much for our regular listeners, you'll know that Lori was guest hosting quite a lot while I was out. We also had Rodney Brown, so we want to give thanks to Rodney for guest hosting as well. This year, Lori is in with me as co-hosts, so the two of us will be hosting the 2026 edition of Creative Voices. We also have another little change up for you in that we will be doing segments and switch it up sometimes, 2 topics per show. So today's show is our first time doing 1 hour on one topic, 1 hour on another topic. And in the first hour, we have something totally topical, very exciting, and we are thrilled to welcome our guest this morning. So I'm going to hand over to Lori, who will introduce or welcome our guest and tell you a little bit about our sponsors before we delve right in. This also means, folks, that the lines are open from the get-go. If you are watching us on live stream, you should have the numbers listed below our screen. If you're listening to us on the radio, you can call in at 466-0989 or 662-0989. If you are listening overseas, then you can join us via the UK at 033-344-0065 or US and Canada, 305-921-4619, 718-285-6984. So we welcome your calls, and we're going to do our best to track your comments as well so that we can ask any questions that you type into our various platforms while we are live on air. So Lori, over to you.
All right. Good morning, everyone, and happy Friday. It's a wonderful day. We had some showers of blessing. We give thanks for that, too.
Amen.
So today, for our first hour, we'll be talking about the Creative Arts Center, which is very exciting, very new. And we have with us in studio Ms. Marcia Jeffers, who is a creative herself, and she also works within the creative economy. And she will be sharing some information with us this morning about the Creative Arts Center. Now, before we get into our program, we just want to say thank you to our sponsors for the first hour, which is Rams Supermarket and TDC. So we'll hear from our sponsors, and then we'll get right into the conversation.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
More than 42 million cars from 19 different car companies are being recalled for faulty airbag inflators. Repairs are fast, easy, and free. The problem isn't with the airbag, it's with the airbag inflator. Because the inflator can rupture, shooting shrapnel through the airbag, which can cause serious injury or even death. Don't risk it, fix it.
Please contact TDC Automotive Division to find out if your Toyota vehicle is affected by the Takata airbag recall. Visit or call us at 465-2511 in St. Kitts or 469-5430 in Nevis.
What are you doing?
She said, drink a root boy, I will do the work. You don't have to wind up yourself. You don't have to wind up yourself. we out and we active, living we life. So when we drinking.
Rude boy.
So when we drinking.
Rude boy.
Oh, Miss Lady, anyway you see we are we building up our vibes. So when we drinking.
Rude boy.
So when we drinking.
Rude boy.
Why?
The importance of co-parenting. Every child has the right to bond with the parents that gave them life. Children are happiest when they can freely communicate and enjoy the time, talents, and lessons that each parent brings to the relationship.
We make co-parenting difficult when we focus on differences rather than what is in the best interest of our children. Parents, your relationship with each other should never affect the relationship you have with your child. Celebrate your children together. They deserve your best. A message brought to you by the Department of Probation and Child Protection Services. Contact us at 467-1311 or 662-6833 for more information.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Creative Voices, the first episode of 2026. And before we get into the discussion, just a little notice for our Rams shoppers. You have until the 31st of January to redeem your points. So don't let your points go to waste. Go to your nearest, your most convenient Rams location with your photo ID and redeem your points. You have until the 31st of January, which is next week, Saturday. So we have Marcia Jeffers in studio with us. And Marcia, just tell us a little bit about yourself before we get into the meat of the matter.
Good morning, world. Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Sarah. It's a pleasure being here. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Still January. It's still a bit fresh, so it's new. Marcia Jeffers. I'm the dance specialist in the Department of Creative Economy. That's a ministry, a department that is ministered by Samuel Duggins. It's new, it's fresh, it's exciting, it's energetic, and I'm happy to be a part of it. I am also the artistic director of Synergy Movements. That's a dance company that is just 10 years old. Not creeping, not walking, but
Somewhere in between.
somewhere in between. We're getting there.
I think they're being bashful, listeners, because Lori is also a dancer with synergy. And I wouldn't say that they're creeping or crawling. I would say that they are leaping because they're very dynamic and do some very out-of-the-box things when it comes to their programs. But, you know, Caribbean people don't always like to blow their own trumpet, so let me do it for them.
Thank you very much for endorsing my dance company. Yes, we are taking leaps.
Yes.
Good. Right?
Leaps and bounds and
physically,
twirls and
culturally, all the leads.
All right.
So Synergy, yes, we are 10 years old and we are a budding company. I'm grateful to be managing, monitoring, encouraging, shaping lives in this season because a lot is going on with our people and I feel we have a lot of talent. I know we have a lot of talent. And so I'm grateful for the opportunity to share some of what I learned in dance school with the world. And so today, in my capacity as member of Task Force, I am humbled to have been in conversations with the great minds that have created a space for us. And so I'm excited. I'm excited.
Awesome. Well, we are all excited, and I'm sure that our listeners and viewers are equally excited because just hearing the St. Kitts and Nevis Creative Arts Center, there is just so much that comes to mind. You think of, well, just from the beginning, St. Kitts and Nevis, so it's a federational effort project, creative, you know, there's just so many aspects to being creative, and then now we have a center for it. Like that's amazing. That's awesome. So can you share with us what motivated the creative economy to establish the first National Creative Arts Center?
Laurie, it's more than motivation. It's been years in coming, long awaited. I think maybe the powers that be are tired of the hegging, because we've been hegging. I am 44 years old, and I know many women don't share the age, but I'm proud to say I'm 44. It's a blessing to be this old. But I know before my time, there were persons in my position and in ministries that have been vying for this, have been calling for this time immemorial. We have, even before my time, Miss Lorna Ava Henry, we have Donna Manchester, we have, even when Honorable Dwight Astafan was in ministry, far back as Justin Henry Martin, and even before that.
Wow.
There have been so many plans. I have sat in so many forums. See this plan here, this one going to involve a basketball court and this over there. So they had us kind of under sports, and then they had allocated spaces that are now housing other things. They brought people in, one man from Jamaica, one man from Trinidad, Dr. Keith Nurse. So I've been to it. And I know persons before me have been to it. I mean, ask Miss Martin, ask anybody who is involved in the arts. They can testify that is more than a motivation. This is a must. This is a must. And so there's, as you mentioned, a lot of creatives out there. We need a home. We have been battling as to how to create, where to create, finding a space for ourselves there. We are fortunate enough that the Ministry of Social and Development has allowed us to use community centers, and grateful that there is actually internet there. Some persons even go as far as, I know at St. Johnson one time, the Operation Future, they had outfitted one of the rooms or some of the rooms with studio spaces, so people like Jay Black and so used to, that's where they started, you know, going up there and doing the music. People use the backyard, people use the bedroom. You just got to use what you have, because this thing don't die. It's a fire inside of you.
Yes.
And so I am, that's why I'm excited, because it's just like it spark a flame in you to say, wow, we're finally getting a home. A home is a beautiful thing.
Yes, that is so true.
And it's a multifaceted home. I like your use of the terminology home. I think it's equal parts, perhaps exciting, exhilarating, but when it comes to the business end, as we'll delve into as we go a little further in the conversation, it may also at times be problematic, because as you rightly mentioned, I think already there's a sense of home in some of the community centers for various creative enterprises, but they're not all well suited to the type of creative endeavor for which they're being used. So for example, you take something like dance. I know the Victoria Road Community Center has a wooden floor. I'm going to use the wrong terminology here, but it's not a sprung
It's not
board
sprung.
floor.
That's the correct terminology.
Oh, there you go. Here. Kudos for you. It's not a sprung floor, but it is wooden, so it's better for the dancers.
Yes.
But then at the community center
At St. Johnson
Village, it's tiled, which is very dangerous for dancers. So sometimes, you know, and I think that speaks to, again, this concept of home, because sometimes people will think that your home serves a purpose because you have a physical building, you have a premises, but for disciplines, and there are such a variety of disciplines. I listened to Honorable Samal Duggan's remarks at the groundbreaking ceremony, and he spoke to culinary arts, film. I'm very curious as to how one space will do all. I know it's clearly quite possible, but I'm still very curious about the plans and how. But I like that the thinking aligned with all of the arts, because we often omit, for example, the culinary arts when we are considering that. But we wondered then, because I know that, again, in this multifaceted nature, how do you think the center will embody the nation's cultural identity and creative vision? Because sometimes you have the business of creativity, which at times is sometimes at odds a bit with the preservation of the cultural identity or the evolution of the cultural identity because it does not remain stagnant, you know.
Correct.
So how in terms of working with the task force, how did you all envision the center embodying the nation's cultural identity, so like a beacon of who we are in terms of our creative expression, as well as the creative vision? What was the thinking there?
So out the gate, as you correctly said, the plans that I've seen before only envisioned performing arts. And when you hear about creative economy, some people think it's dance, it's music, it's drama, it's anything that you physically go on stage and perform.
Right.
And the arts is much more than that. And see, our whole, Flames will tell you, Flames is a creative.
Of course.
Because he's a DJ.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sound engineers are creatives. Filmmakers are creatives. We now have at the college robotics, they are creatives. Everybody who, let me use this term, beat a face is creative and physically. So we have cosmetology, we have culinary, you have nail techs, everything. You have the lady on the side who sell hot and jam. All of these are considered creatives because there's so many disciplines. And one of the things that we were in agreement with from the very start was that we have to incorporate all of the disciplines, not just performing arts or the performance side of the art industry. And so it's multifaceted. One of the members of the task force, Mr. Darian Fleming, he is an architect by nature, by design, by training. And so he sat with us and he mapped out, when the investors sent their plot, we said, this needs fixing, this needs suiting for St. Kitts and for who we have here, our talents. And they sat with us, we said we want these labs. So some labs are going to be there identified for education, because, you know, there are persons who just don't have a space and they just want to sit down. I just want to write about 5 poems today, but I don't have a quiet space. You go in there and that's your room. There's another who may say, well, I don't have a studio, I don't have a money to rent a studio, I just need a mic, I just need a maybe a little camera, I just need something just to record. There is a room just for that. So we have recording studios, we have performance studios, we have theater. So if you have a mini show, say you have a show with 50 people, you just want an audience, we have that. If you have a show of the magnitude of 3,000 people, we have that. And so we have amphitheater. There's going to be, even creators are, what we call them now, our artisans. They sell craft, they have some vendors. So everybody is considered, everybody is included. You have space for first aid, you have space just for, you think it is there. You think it is there. Just for play, you have what you call it, and I like this because as little children we grew up skating. And I don't see many skateboards now. But there is a space for skating.
In roller skating, rollerblading, and skateboarding?
In there. It's right there. Wow. So you have restaurants, you could go internet cafes, you could go just sit outside, eat. So it provides jobs for persons, it provides spaces. Of course, you have dance studios, you have drama, all of the arts are included, visual arts, you have place for, you know, teachers like Mr. Joseph and so who build set. And Vaughn Ansley and them big set, and so you have spaces for those, like a woodwork shop to just go and construct. So it delves into a lot. It delves into a lot. And it doesn't, and no culture involved. So somebody will say, well, what happened to the traditional cultural folklore that we know? There are spaces for that too. You go, you create you have seamstresses can go and make costumes on the spot. So I think we thought about everything. Not saying it's are all fixed, because in the next 5-10 years, you know, you may have persons coming up with ideas, but I think we covered most of the disciplines, and so it's going to be an amazing space. It's going to be a home for a lot of people, because we want it organic, we want it open every day, security, parking attendance, bathrooms, everything.
Okay, so there'll be some job creation in there.
Yes, lots.
Yeah.
You know, when I was younger, I wanted to learn how to skateboard. There is a skate park. So I'm originally from Jamaica. So there's a skate park out in St. Thomas, which is on the western side of the island. And I used to watch videos and I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to do that. But I'm so scared of cuts and bruises. But now that you've mentioned that there's going to be a skating area, I think I might try to
Get
do
your
it.
skateboard.
Yeah, I'm ready.
For you.
Knee pads and your elbow pads.
Oh,
and your
yeah.
So
I will not be trying that. I've done it when I was younger and I wasn't particularly good at it. So at 47, I'm also not afraid to share my age. I don't think I'll be venturing back into that. But I'm happy for the people to have a space. In fact, in listening to a Saturday morning program, I heard the hosts reminiscing on the days, Marcia, you may remember this, when people used to do a lot of roller skating. I think it was down by the Treasury Apron.
In the Treasury Apron,
Yeah.
And even for carnival, for Juve and so them boys used to be on the roller skate, BJ and them coming through. Yeah, it was a thing.
All right, so there may be a resurgence, Lori. You could be back in the thing. That can be your Juve thing.
Maybe.
Yes, so you'll be on the side in the cafe, just sitting watching.
No, I'll be on the road chipping, but I'm not going to be skating.
Okay, that's right.
We balance the spectrum. So stay, we're going to be on the road and the side skating.
Take a small chip.
Yes.
Quiet, small chip.
So for anyone who wants to join in the conversation, we'll just repeat the numbers. So our local numbers are 466-0989, also 662-0989. And Sarah, if you could share the overseas numbers, please.
No problem. They are also on screen. And I know Lori has some burning questions for you. So probably after we share the numbers, we'll take a little break to hear from our sponsors, and then we'll come back to continue along with our questions. But for those who are joining overseas, of course, you can join in the conversation if you're in the UK at 033-344-0065. And if you're in the US or Canada, you can join in at 305-921-4619 or 718-285-6984. All right, so with that, I think we're going to just head to our sponsors for a brief word from them, because of course without them this would not be possible. So tune in. Right. You can take a little break, but make sure you don't go too far away from the radio, from the computer, because you still want to hear the ads and find out what wonderful things are in store for you, so that when you finish listening to Creative Voices, you listen to the news and then you run down to do a little bit of shopping. All right, we'll see you after the break.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Everything you want, everything you need, got the taste you love, anywhere that you may be, is the Caribbean flavor. Shirley biscuits make me happy.
Shirley got it all about the flavor. Shirley never let me down. When I lime it at the beach on the town, Shirley biscuits always feel like home.
Everything you want, everything you need, got the taste you love, anywhere that you may be, is the Caribbean flavor. Shirley biscuits make me happy.
Shirley, the Caribbean's favorite biscuit.
Everything you want, everything you need, got the taste you love, anywhere that you may be, is the Caribbean flavor. Shirley biscuits make me happy.
Shirley got it all about the flavor. Shirley never let me down. When I lime it at the beach on the town, Shirley biscuits always feel like home.
Everything you want, everything you need, got the taste you love, anywhere that you may be, is the Caribbean flavor. Shirley biscuits make me happy.
Shirley, the Caribbean's favorite biscuit.
More than 42 million cars from 19 different car companies are being recalled for faulty airbag inflators. Repairs are fast, easy, and free. The problem isn't with the airbag, it's with the airbag inflator. Because the inflator can rupture, shooting shrapnel through the airbag, which can cause serious injury or even death. Don't risk it, fix it.
Please contact TDC Automotive Division to find out if your Toyota vehicle is affected by the Takata airbag recall. Visit or call us at 465-2511 in St. Kitts or 469-5430 in Nevis.
We are back, and I know it's Lori's turn to ask the questions, but we just had a little off-record conversation during the break, and I thought that we could bring a little moment on location, because on on record because we were having a conversation about, all of the different iterations of something like this. And I know even in my reading up in preparation for this interview, I was reminded of, for example, the 2023 consultative process and then the 2025 contractual process, as I understand it, and now the 2026 symbolic mortar laying and groundbreaking, and that is just a recent history, but this is something that has gone on long before in various leaderships, various administrations, various consultants. And I wondered about the choice of location in terms of the task force's line of thinking and in terms of what you considered, because I drove around the island on the weekend, which I love to do. Think it's so blissfully beautiful.
It's beautiful.
So when in driving around the island, you see so much land that appears to be not in use necessarily for agriculture, housing, anything like that. Yeah, appears to be because we know that can be really not the case. So I wondered about the choice of location, because of course there's some resistance to that, because for a number of reasons in terms of the water table, but also in terms of, generally things that are held in the Bastia Valley area. There's a lot of traffic congestion. So I'm imagining the task force had some engagement with the various departments that would need to have some say in terms of whether you have something of this magnitude serving all of these stakeholders. You mentioned capacity of 3,000, and we already see when we have events on the Friggaby field or pasture that it becomes, almost dead lock, if that's the right word. So what was the thinking there? I imagine there are different ways to enter through the Bastia Valley, but even when we have agriculture open day, there are a lot of there's a lot of congestion. There's a lot. I'm just wondering, about the location choice, because we seem to like to have everything in Bastia, but some time ago I remembered there being some talk about decentralizing things outside of Bastia,
so that persons can, like you, enjoy the nice country breeze in their face and see different places in cities that they never seen before. But the land was allocated, the land was assigned, bought by we have a very rich CBI program, and so the gentlemen were, they invested in the land right outside of Connery. I know it's still pretty much in the what we call the Bastia area, and but it's still not centralized. When in our previous discussion, I know there was a space allocated just behind of Dr. William Connor's school. When you come up from Palm Court right there, of course, just right there by the college. That was years ago. And so when they thought about Performing Arts Center, because that's what it was, it probably could have suited that time.
Okay.
And that space when creatives were not, when creative economy wasn't even a word, really, I really acknowledge. And then there was talk of the old movies right behind here, where Ready Fry is, because it's an old theater. It was gonna, obviously the movie is being held there anymore, so the space was gonna be utilized as a performing arts center as opposed to going up to ECCB. That again, too small, and so we are grateful for the land that is right on the we call it Connery when you go from the Heroes Park. When we went there for the groundbreaking, it was a challenge getting there because it's one road, it's a dirt road, it's not really established, fully constructed as yet, but that again is in the pipeline. Parking was one of the things that was a must. We told the investors, we told the architects that, hey, if we're going to house this facility, if it's going to be organic and we're catering to all these disciplines, parking is a must.
Definitely.
An adequate parking, because we want to be able to have music festival there. Music festival is thousands of people. And where do we park for music festival? The Old Bastia High School, down 4th Street, Church Street, all the street them taken up.
I think they do Port Zante Park.
Port Zante, and then you shuttle up people. So people park all because there's just no parking. The roads are blocked off. The roads is parked one way. So parking was definitely a consideration. And so when it is constructed, there would be ease of traffic. It's not in a congested area, so it's outside a Bastia, so it's off route, it's off the main basically.
Okay.
And so that to me is a safe space. Of course, there was consultation with the Ministry of Sustainable and Environment to quell the discussions about the aquifer and the water table and the danger with that. So we're safe.
Okay.
I can out the gate say that. It's an ideal spot. It's a very, very ideal spot. It's nice and breezy. The breeze coming over from Frigate Bay, and it's just ideal.
Okay. And I suppose having someone like Darian on the task force as well.
Yes,
I like that it was
physical planning.
Yeah,
too.
because I wondered that
wind
if
direction.
the task force, because yes, having speaking in my own experience, I study literature, I love literature, but owning a bookstore is a very different thing from being a lover of literature.
Yeah.
So being a dancer is a different thing from, the business infrastructure and all of that of a center. So having a multidisciplinary team as a task force, I imagine, was helpful.
And Gian is on our team to Gian said, remember the literary arts? Remember, she's just an echo in my head. I could still smiling the way she's listed. But yes, a nice big, well, I want to say library, but even for a fancy name for it, because it's going to be, more like a book cafe or something. So
I like that.
Your books will be there.
Yes, we'll send our customers there as well.
Of course.
There is just the more we speak about this center, the more excited I get for its work, like just to see it in operation, and it will be so buzzing with so many things happening simultaneously, and it's just so exciting. It's wonderful. But with the emphasis on creatives and all the things that we do, the various disciplines within creativity, I'm sure that there are different cultural influences on our traditions that we have here locally. So how will the center ensure the authenticity of the representation there? Because it is the St. Kitts and Nevis Creative Arts Center, but I know that within ourselves we have influences from other cultures. So how would we ensure that it remains authentic?
One of the themes or the thrust that our ministry and government by extension has embarked on is inclusivity. And so we know with our Prime Minister being the head of CARICOM, we know with, even outside of that, we have a lot of our Caribbean
creatives,
sisters and brothers living here. That's one. And so the inclusivity and authenticity, to me, go hand in hand. While trying to maintain who we are as a people, we embrace others with their cultures, because that's who we are. We were shaped. We have so many influences, European influence, African from who we are. We have Indian influences who, in our history, has shaped who we are and what we do, our culture, how we dress, the way we cook with all these spices, the way we dance, our music is influenced with, and so we can't negate the fact that they are a part of us. And so in maintaining who we are, we have to embrace them, and that's how I will say that. And so at the center, we can't say only Kittitians and Divisions, because there is a Spanish community,
of course,
and part of the Spanish community back then, immigrants were here working on our fields, doing all sorts of indentured laborers, the Guyanese. Everybody is just, as it's cliche, but the Caribbean is a melting pot. And so that's what we want the Creative Arts Center to be. Just welcoming, open to everybody, but still maintaining who we are. So there's some historical value. There are our traditions that we would maintain, like our masquerade, our bull, those folk forms that even sometimes you see them perform, they tend to insert something that is relevant. Like when I hear the bull playing, they say, oh, he had COVID. And so it's funny because, COVID wasn't a thing back on Belmont Estate, but to remain relevant and to appeal to the audience that you have to be creative. And that's creative, like, you constantly create, and so you
And it
can't put a
evolves.
cap on it, but you still maintain this is who we are. One of the things that is forever going to be authentic is the way we speak our language. So we are as, you can distinctly say, that's a Yadi, that's a Bajan, that's what we got with twang. So how we say things. Like when I studied in Jamaica, just a side note, when we say me monkeys, like that's like what?
What do you mean?
What do you mean? Yeah, and so we have our language that is distinct, just like everybody else.
Yeah, and I think, that, again, now looking at the authenticity that we just described, and I really like this all-encompassing approach, because my perspective aligns with a cultural theorist named Stuart Hall, who looked at the definition of cultural identity really as, or questioned, the approach to either looking in the past at something that existed and always, like the way that people perhaps in the clown debate, whether people are not wearing the full clown suit or they're not doing the clown dance anymore and so on. But, or looking at culture as something that is always evolving because it changes. And if we look at the clown suit that we think of as tradition, then maybe there was a time where even that was a variation of what originally existed.
Yes.
And I know that the Department of Culture is doing, which I really commend them for, a lot of work on documenting our intangible cultural heritage.
Right.
And that is really important because it will change. And my dad is Trinidadian, so I spent a lot of time in Trinidad growing up, and I was there for 6 weeks last year. And that is a country where it's so diverse culturally, but there's a sort of embracing. While it is a melting pot, yes, and of course everywhere has their problems and their challenges, so I'm not at all painting a utopic picture, but there's a dragon dance that's part of their carnival. That is a Chinese culture. There is chutney soca that's part of the music, and that is a part of the East Indian heritage. And as you rightly said, the cuisine, that type of thing. And in my own thinking, very few people in St. Kitts and Nevis, if any, I just don't want to speak in any kind of terms that I haven't fact-checked, but I feel I'm pretty confident to say that, we are not descendants of the indigenous. So we are all descendants of people who migrated here by force or by will at some point in our history.
Correct.
So as we look at this center, and we're looking at accountability as well, did the task force discuss any measures in place to ensure transparency in programming, funding, and artist selection? I know sometimes that comes up because you might have a funding agent that says, look, I'm going to give you all a grant for X, but in order to access the grant, these are the artists who must be involved, or, the programming that you do. If you have, what's the management going to be like? Like, who's going to run it? Is there going to be a director? Who's going to decide upon what is showcased there, what is not showcased there? Any thoughts on that?
Before I got to that, I was to mention the part of the authenticity is also in the design of the building. The investors made sure they came, they look at the landscape. So if you see the design for the amphitheater, it looks like our volcano. So it has this concave kind of shape, like it's very mountainous. And then when the rain falls, you're not even, it's open, but you're not going to be getting wet. So they just make sure they consider that, as well as the groundbreaking. They ensure the stones that were used, the ground laying, were volcanic rocks. And that's very unique to our, to St. Kitts Nevis. But if I will go back to the question you asked about programming and funding and managing, this is the magnitude of this building. It obviously is going to take huge management, and so the task force that we have currently, of course, will be expanded to involve other persons who would manage various sectors of it. So you have maintenance being taken care of. You have programming, funding. If somebody wants to come and think and they want to invest, you have to ensure that policies are in place to prevent persons from and using this word very lightly, taking over our space because people like to bargain for their own interests and then our thing get watered down. And so that's why we have Miss Jan Williams Knight on our team to kind of as a legal aid and an advisor to ensure that we safeguard who we are and the vision that we have for this space. Because a lot of persons we like to say colloquially, people that suffer from newness. As soon as churches come, a lot of care over there. As soon as Burger King, so it's like it's a new space, and persons not just locally, regionally are looking at us because this is supposed to be, and we are marketing it as the best in the region. I've been to Trinidad, I've been to Jamaica, I've been to, and listen, some huge structures y'all have, some very very beautiful structures. Y'all have been to Barbados, and they are currently, they have, it's almost finished. We went to, for Carrie Festival, we went to a space that is, I felt like I teleported to somewhere.
Wow.
Awesome.
In the eastern part of the world. Like, I was like, what? And I was like, why can't, just sometimes I travel, I just want to fold up things and put them in my pocket and bring them back here. But we know having ours. And so I know it's going to be, eye-catching, is going to be captivating regionally and internationally. So we're going to have an influx of persons, but policies are going to safeguard, and programs are going to safeguard for our people, our usage. And that's why we have legal consultation with Jan and other persons to manage. So they're going to help with management. Of course, they're going to be a board of directors. I don't know the structure as yet, but we are going to, that is in the pipeline already. We're working on that.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah, because of course we can't, creative economy currently, like our staff is what, 13? That's just impossible for us to undertake. And so
that's a full-time job, really.
Yeah, interministerial. We have to make sure that all bodies are on board.
All right. No, you mentioned the policies and procedures, which are absolutely necessary, of course. But in terms of innovation, because sometimes people will say, well, I have an idea, but I'm not sure if it aligns with what we want to do or what we want to achieve. So how would we, in this use of the Creative Arts Center, strike that balance between innovation, preserving the cultural heritage, while still staying within the policies and that sort of stuff?
Well, I can speak structurally. Some of the labs that we created are just open spaces. So in terms of if there's a creative out there, and things are going to change with the rising technology, the fast-paced development that's going on globally, they're going to have things that just come up that we did not consider in the structure. And so there are open spaces that people could just go and create.
Okay.
I want to, I don't know, make a robot out of cotton. I don't know. Just empty spaces where you could go and work, right? And so we don't want to limit ourselves. We don't want to dull anybody's shine or, prevent anybody from doing what they dream to be a business or a new part of the creative economy is just being open and inclusive. And so we have some open spaces where people just go and create. Of course, it's going to be monitored. So that's structurally. I don't think we can put a cap, Lori, on innovation. We can preserve, yes, what we have, but we just...
Because it evolves over time. So,
it's so changing. It's like a revolving door. You go and you come out, you go and you come out. People see things. Even looking at Sarah's jacket, I see it. If somebody wants to split it down in half, put a plaid over here. It's just like you can't put a cap on it.
Right.
It's just open, it's inclusive, it's, as the name suggests, it's creative.
Yeah. And just so we're clear, so if, for example, I want to do some painting, I would have to bring my own paint, right? It's just the space, or
you can have a space. There are spaces outfitted with that as well. So we have what you call them now, paint labs. So you could go and things are going to be there for you to. We have painters, we have teachers in this space where you can be guided if you want, or if you just want to bring your own thing. 'Cause it's like a house. If you build a new house, you say, should I put it empty or should I outfit it with furniture? Some people just want to bring in the things, and some people just don't have anything and I just want a space. So we have both.
Okay.
But before we cut to break, the way that you've been speaking of the center and also the way that you were outlining and defining creatives, it resonated very much with the definition that we use for this program as well. So this program is exclusively focused on creative endeavors. But again, sometimes we tend to pigeonhole because we think creative, a lot of people, when you say create, they don't quite know exactly what that means. I find the term is being used a lot and sometimes without necessarily, it's an easy way to label something that you don't quite understand. So you can say creative and then, but you really mean dancers or you mean actors or you mean visual artists. But there's so much more. And we use the definition by Franklin from 1994 where he says, the tendency to generate or recognize ideas, alternatives, or possibilities that may be useful in solving problems, communicating with others, and entertaining ourselves and others. So that definition we like because it goes way beyond the entertainment value, which is fantastic. And, you know, that entertainment value alone can sometimes solve the world's problems. But also the type of problem solving thinking that goes along with the creative mindset. So as you rightly said, robotics, that's creativity. Culinary arts, that's creativity. So many other things, the architecture, that is creativity as well. So, and anything really, once you're looking at a particular problem and you're thinking of ways that you can solve that problem, so it's solutions-based thinking, then that is creative. And so if the space allows, so sometimes, so having the equipment for the artists, if you want to learn to paint and that type of thing, then that would be great. But also for just a space to problem solve, it seems like it will allow for that
functioning,
that as well, which is so
some
important.
persons really are skilled in a given area. You could train, you can have years of experience, but creativity, it can be measured. And I do a lot of judging of exams, judging of shows, and so you say, how do you judge creativity? You really can. You have an idea, it's like, okay, this one have a little more glitter than this, so it's a little more creative, it's more functionally
there are more layers to it.
But you really can't judge creativity, because what we do, it's individualized.
So maybe sometimes you're judging innovation, because you're looking at how they took the same, let's say,
raw material,
a gown, a pageant. In fact, my daughter and I were having a conversation on this recently in relation to talent for pageants, because we're strong in dance, we're strong in the drama. But in terms, and so then you look at the panels and you wonder if sometimes the chaperones and the machinery around the contestants, it really works towards thinking of the judge's skill set as opposed to innovating and using other talents that might be piano or something painter. We have had painters in the past. We've had, I think Sasha did an art, live art, and that was very exciting.
That was
so, but so it is a really exciting way to look at how we can have this center not just for the entertainment value, not just for the arts that we know, but also as a problem-solving space for the nation, and that I think is really, you can have think tanks, all kinds of things. So in that vein, another question before we go to break is, how will the center support professional development, mentorship, and career pathways for the artists? Was there any thoughts along those lines?
Yes, there is. You said professional development and pathways for career. Right now in the schools, and again, my background as a theater arts teacher, it's really becoming a thing in the high schools. When I used to teach, there was only Basel High, and then Washi came on board. Now Sandy Point is doing it, and virtuals. Keon started, but I don't think it's Kenyan is still on board. So, but all of the schools, like Sanders, don't have a theatre arts program. We don't have any structured theatre arts program in our primary schools. And so, in terms of career building or gearing our students in an educational manner towards a career in the art, being entrepreneurship, it's the conversation has started. Education is there, but it's not enough, because we have more creatives now, but not so much on the education side, like not coming back to teacher school or to what have you. And then we have the struggle with parents now. We're going to tell them, you want to be a musician? Where you going with that? No money in that, and you can't dance for life. You have to do something else and then go play a violin. Like, I think
we could do
it's
a whole
age-old
episode
story
on
that alone.
yes.
Right.
Yes.
But I'm saying there are so many arms that come together to ensure that this center works. So we have to change the mindset of the public so that they know, okay, we have this space now, because space does a thing for people. Because we, over the years, have not had a department or ministry that pushes the arts. Parents were not willing to allow the children to go and study that. So there are no scholarships. Like, I had to take a loan to go to Jamaica. There are no scholarships. Were no scholarships in the arts. And so there are so many avenues and persons who influence what this home would be like. And so for it to be successful, the mindset of our people would have to change and say, yeah, we now have a home. There's a possibility that I can just go there and work, have a job. We talk about jobs. Yes. So the professional side, the business side of it, it's dependent on a lot of different aspects of our society. And so while we have a space for it, then persons would more the probability of persons entering the arts would be higher, as opposed to training somebody into the arts and then they travel and don't come back. Right. So we have a brain drain of all the skill and talent we have here in St. Kitts Nevis, because everybody go away and don't come back because no space was here. There's no space. Or there no will be a space. I like to speak like it don't have it.
Yeah,
speak
like
it into being.
Now they go breaking.
Right?
Yes.
The investors was like, I'm ready to start. We're coming back in February, and they were like excited.
Good.
To begin. So I'm really happy for that. So we want everybody to think about the creative industry in a business sense, in an entrepreneurship, like money generating.
Not
I know
just a hobby.
I don't know, when we come from the break, we could talk about this, but inland revenue, customs, everybody, because it's not, the monetary value is not recognized, is not acknowledged, is not seen by some ministries, by a lot of persons. And so that's another challenge.
The orange economy. Plugging that for when we come back from the break. So we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. And, it's interesting because people always think that an hour is a lot of time in studio. 2 hours is a lot of time in studio. And we're up on the hour already. And we have just really enjoyed the conversation. Just barely touched the surface, but maybe we can have Marcia back with us as the year progresses and as we see the building taking place and so on. So we're not done yet. Stay tuned. We're taking a break. We'll be back with Marcia right after these words from our sponsors.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
More than 42 million cars from 19 different car companies are being recalled for faulty airbag inflators. Repairs are fast, easy, and free. The problem isn't with the airbag, it's with the airbag inflator. Because the inflator can rupture, shooting shrapnel through the airbag, which can cause serious injury or even death. Don't risk it, fix it.
Please contact TDC Automotive Division to find out if your Toyota vehicle is affected by the Takata airbag recall. Visit or call us at 465-2511 in St. Kitts or 469-5430 in Nevis.
What are you doing?
She said, drink a root boy, I will do the work. You don't have to wind up yourself. You don't have to wind up yourself. Oh. She said, drink a root boy, I will do the work. You don't have to wind up yourself. You don't have to wind up yourself. Oh. Cause when we out and we active, living we life. So when we drink, we drinking. Root boy. So when we drink, we drinking. Root
Come, build with us at Hostels Building and Neva Centers. We don't just sell materials, we help you build your dreams. Whether it's a new home, a renovation, or DIY project, we're here to make it happen. That's why we say, build with us. From foundation to finish, come to our stores where we have the best in building materials, hardware, tools, paints, expert advice, and more. Whatever you need, you can count on us. So if you're ready to get started, build with us. With Hostels Building and Neva Centers, you're not just building a structure, you're building a future. Let us help you create something amazing. Dream with us, plan with us, grow with us at Hosford's.
Welcome back to Creative Voices, and today we have in studio Marcia Jeffers, and we have been having a very exciting, very thought-provoking conversation on the St. Kitts and Nevis Creative Arts Center, and we are just so excited for the work to begin and to see how it all unfolds. And just before we went for a break, we were speaking about the career development of creative arts, performing arts, visual arts, all the various disciplines as a business, so that we can encourage the future, well, I shouldn't even say future, the current generation. And even for those who you may be retired, but you have some sort of creativity, you may be a musician, a painter, but you've retired from your 9 to 5, you can now have a different stream of income because you're going to be an art teacher, a music teacher within the Creative Arts Center. So there are just so many possibilities. Endless possibilities. So as we think about the work of the Creative Arts Center, of course it is St. Kitts and Nevis, but we would want to extend regionally, internationally, globally. So are there any plans in place to attract sort of international collaborations, any festivals, I know there are also residencies that some creatives have done. You have like art residency where you go to a certain location for a period of time. So are there any plans or any ideas in place for the center for that sort of?
Yes, I'm saying yes. 2 years ago, we initiated what we call CPAC, the Creative Power Arts Convention. Right. And it's a biannual event, so it's happening again this year. Okay. And I'll take a moment to just plug that in. A lot of persons from the region and international landscape were on the island just for CPAC. It's a multiple disciplinary conference that not just provide information and entertainment on the performance end, but on the business end, on the legal end, on all the ends. Like what it embraces is the whole industry, the whole person. So if you are into performing, it's there. You have fringe events in the night, you have sessions in the afternoon, in the morning. We have facilitators. CPAC is like the foundation for the center. So we have connections. We have so many collaborations with all these international persons who are creatives in their own right. They've been in it for years in the industry. Like music engineers, Ivan Berry had a whole team of maybe 10 or even more persons coming here in their various capacities to educate, to train, to share with us, with young budding artists coming up in St. Kitts Nevis. And so there is a lot of room for collaboration through CPAC. We have made those connections, and so we have spaces where workshops can be done at the Creative Arts Center. We have programs that would facilitate persons coming here doing stuff. We doing exchanges, going to their spaces, and exposing our creatives to what is outside of St. Kitts, because even though we want them to stay here and build up, train other young creatives, they too are still training, and we wanted to be exposed to what is out there, what is current, what is happening, what is changing.
Right.
And so it builds them as an individual while they are still helping to shape the younger ones. And so, yes, there is lots of persons. I mean, if I use a personal experience, I went to Edna Manley. There was Edna Manley School of College in Jamaica. That's my second home. And it was the best 4 years of my life. I kid you not. Like, persons like, when I tell people Romain Virgo is my friend, like, literally, we sat in the same dorm. His room was under mine because it's a multi-ability. The living areas were
co-ed.
Both. Yes, it was co-ed. So we had music students, we had drama students, dance students.
And multidisciplinary.
Multidisciplinary, people doing jewelry, people doing arts management. So if you're really not into making a costume or singing on stage, you manage the arts. Because a lot of our creatives, kid you not, and that's a next challenge. That's a whole nother hour. They don't see themselves they don't see the business side of it.
Right.
I love to, and so I do it.
Yes.
And so when they ask how much you have to pay for this, they can't quote you a figure because they've never been paid for it,
Right.
which goes back to the education of our creatives in a business mindset, because you hire them and they're just like, oh, we're having a cocktail at the Gigi's house, and you can stay for the refreshments.
And that's it.
Hello? I had to catch a bus to come here. You can't even stare. Like, what is that? So they have not been trained or nurtured or cultured, rather, that this is a career. You can be paid from this. And so exposure to, persons who live the life. You've been like, this is your career, you get paid for it, is very, very good, because we have not been cultured that way.
Yes.
And so we really want to hit home with that, because it's good and it's bad, but our creatives need to value what they do and who they are, and know their worth, to be able to communicate that to the persons that they're training.
Right.
Well, I would like to say that you can count on the team at Bougainvillea Books and Gifts as partners in this endeavor, because this is exactly what our work is about as well.
Yes.
Not just in terms of the literary arts, but also in terms of the performing arts with the events we host, the artisans who create all of the wonderful gifts that we sell, we represent. When last we checked, it was about 40 different local artisans, authors, and artists. So you can definitely count on us as you continue this exercise. And as we close out, because if you can't believe it, time is up already. And our listeners will not believe that Marcia said to us at the beginning, I'll answer what I can. But clearly she has been able to answer absolutely everything, and in such a complete and wonderful way. And it actually is a little similar to what we were just speaking about in terms of undervaluing our experience and expertise, because you see how extremely experienced you are. Your depth of experience has really lent to a very dynamic conversation today, and we are so grateful for that. So as we close, what legacy do you hope this center will leave for future generations, especially as somebody who has been in this industry, in the Federation, for decades?
I have lived a life of not having a space, and so I'm really happy that children unborn will have a space, because the talent that we are leaving, the foundation that we are setting for them, and I am humbled and I'm elated, and I can't find the words. I'm relieved that we are having this, because this is something that we fought for. I feel like this is like when you're fighting for slavery. Not that
fighting for independence.
Yes, and just
for freedom and liberation.
Yeah, it's like finally, like at the end of a race, and I see a gold medal around our necks. Like we've done it, and that's the legacy that we want. That's the legacy we want, because children are growing up. They're seeing what making businesses. I do work in primary school. I know 10-year-olds, and so that they're making, I'm wearing a bracelet, if I may just. This it looks like a piece of thread with beads, but it says my name. A little girl, I think she's in grade 4, is Lucas' daughter. She goes to Dr. William Collins School. She made this. This has been on my hand since when? Maybe
Years.
October?
Oh, really?
No.
It felt
She
longer
did
than
it
that.
last year. Really look old, but because it's stretched out. But I'm saying they make little stuff, they sell it, and a little child with a lemonade stand. They're doing things. They're doing things, and we provide a space for them. And it's like, wow.
Yeah. We are one of the, I guess, the youngest. No, we have authors whose literary works we sell. One of our authors is 10.
Corinne.
We also have Corinne. We also
Yeah.
sell Stofi cards
Cards by Adair.
who I think is
Adele,
also
yes.
10.
I have a jacket.
We
I have
also
one of her
sell
jackets.
bracelets
Yes.
by Sassy V's beautiful daughter. And
Oh, her
she
daughter
is,
does it now?
Yes, she
Okay.
is, I think,
No,
16 or 15 or somewhere along
some
those lines. So
teenage.
she's in fifth form.
Yeah.
So, yes, definitely.
They're doing
definitely.
stuff.
They
They're
are doing
doing
things,
stuff.
and they are doing the business of it too, with
The
the help of their
business-
parents very
the
often,
business
because
side.
the parents are entrepreneurial or
Yeah.
creative as well. So we wish to thank you so much, Marcia, for sharing time and space with us today. It has been a wonderful experience of dialogue, of visioning. It is very exciting for those of us in the creative space to hear what the next steps are, because the more of this type of work that we do, the better for our federation.
Yes.
Because in addition to all of the wonderful things we discussed, just to create space for creative thinking, which is also problem solving thinking,
Right.
will be good for the federation. And we express our gratitude to the task force. We're happy to learn of the multidisciplinary nature of the task force, and we will continue to receive questions, pass them on, ask on behalf of our listeners, our viewers. And I think that you handled all those that were sent in advance to us, in a very effortless and wonderful way.
Yes.
So
Thank you.
interestingly enough, we're transitioning from Marcia. So we're transitioning from you, Marcia, to DJ Flames. So we're going to hear from a practitioner in the field
you go.
who has been, in the field for a long time, a musical DJ. So a lifetime in music. We'll find out a bit more about that. So we're going to be
And we
transitioning over
didn't-
to Flames. But you
into the mental side of it, because music helps with mental depression and all of this, and the tourism end. We are tourism. We're not an agrarian society anymore, so creatives, we collaborate with tourism.
Well, you're
It's a
welcome to
tourism
stay if you have
market.
questions for Flames as well. So I'm going to hand over to Laurie to intro our second segment and to welcome our very special
the bands in preparation for Carnival. So we truly appreciate all that you do. And now we get to hear from you. Yeah.
story.
Yes, so everyone knows Flames, the DJ, and you can hire him for your events, birthday parties, weddings, everything. He does all.
Done that.
Yeah.
I have to say.
Yes.
Yes.
And not forgetting dancer too, so.
Oh,
Yeah,
You have to put you on stage.
What's that
Well,
group?
Marcia, you heard that.
Vivace? Is Vivace was the name?
Vivace, yes.
Vivace. When I just came, I used to be a part of that group.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I did
Is that a
few-
stereotype to
I-
think that all Jamaicans can dance?
Most of us can dance.
You have the few who kind of
Yes.
have their legs probably on backwards, but
Yes, yes.
yeah, wow. Okay, so
It's a lot, but I'm going to try to be concise as Jim Reeves did, And over the years, music becomes a part of me, where that is like, I'm hearing song and I was like, oh, I know this song from. And when I start to think deep is when I was growing up. So just before I migrated to St. Kitts, I was playing around with some old records that my uncle had back home and a little turntable, and people just start to dance, the family started to dance, and I was like, man, this is a nice thing, And then I moved a group called TNO.
Oh, yes, I remember.
Yes. And we were selected by the Ministry of not entertainment, by the Ministry of Youths to do a talk show about violence and to stay away from gang and stuff like that. And they formed a program called, I think it was Element of Soul, with a big, tall guy chewing a gum, have a cane, and it's like, yo, I love your voice, and I like your music selection, I want to mentor you. That was Valentine Thomas.
wow.
Yeah. And from there to now, he nurtured me, how to talk, how to breathe, trying to teach me about the tempo of music, the energy of music, how you play it, how to read your crowd.
Wow.
When someone is having dinner, you don't play dancing music, you play a more down tempo music, and it goes from there. And then I learn, and then boom, I had to stop because I got a job at the Royal Beach Casino, and I was a dealer at the time. So I was like on the back burner. Here and there with TNO down again, and then I end up leaving TNO because I wanted to. It's like I'm the type of person that believe in growth, and it's like if I do something for 2-3 years, I want to see how can I do it better the next 3 years. I want to advance, and it goes from there, from the casino. Then the casino decide to use me as a DJ in the casino with the promotions. So it's like so it's like and that gig in the casino, were not my regular job, that gig have helped me to reach through doors that I never thought I would be able to reach. Because now when in the casino, you got to learn what kind of music you play inside here. Even though it's a gambling and it's a mature place, you just can't play any music because of the stuff, and that's what they taught me. And from there, it's just residency after residency.
Lovely.
I think 5 years in the casino, I come across Shannon. And before Shannon, I used to work for her father. May soul rest in peace. Babsy used to do his karaoke, stuff like that. And I'm also be a resident DJ for Shannon for Music Fest, Express Event VIP, every year for the past, I think it's 10 years now or 11 years now. So my musical career, is just a way of stopping and then go somewhere that take me to a higher level. And one thing lead to the next, and I resigned from the casino in 2019, just before the pandemic, decided to do music full time. And I'm telling you, it wasn't easy.
No, I can imagine.
Like the first year was good, and then the pandemic hit, and then that's it. Everything shut down. I have to rebuild. And I get a call from Park Hyatt. To be the resident DJ again, just in the midst, of the pandemic, so we have a little agreement, and we used to go. They still, even though we have the lockdown, they still used to allow like wedding to happen with us, control crowd and stuff like that. And I stayed there, and I'm still there to this day.
Wonderful.
You understand? When it comes to radio now, after I migrated to the casino, I couldn't do radio based on the timing and stuff like that. And then when Freedom FM ended up opening up, Junie Library reached out to me, and I was on Freedom FM for 12 years?
Oh, wow. A good time,
Yeah, 12 years. And I used to just go do my little Saturday show. And I'm a very, how people would say, for me, I'm a very reserved guy. I like what I do, but I'm only going to show you when I'm doing it.
Okay.
Like if I walk in a room, you wouldn't know I'm a DJ. You would see me on the floor dancing and feel like I'm just an angel, and you wouldn't know I'm a DJ. So I'm a very reserved, and for the past 4 years, I decided to change that. If you want something and you want to be reached to a certain stage, you have to put in the work.
That's true.
You have to be consistent, and you can't be downplaying yourself. You can't be saying, "Oh man, I want to mash nobody can." You doing we all go through that in business, but at the end of the day, it's like I end up fighting myself during the pandemic as well. And from coming out of the pandemic, I hit the ground running. And from Park Hyatt, I then went and create my web page to Destination Wedding. My webpage is www.dj, which is DJ spell out flames.com. And since I did that, from since I did it 2 years ago, the first year I get like 2 bookings. Last year I get 8.
Wow.
Just as the year start, I have 4 prior 4.
Awesome.
So it's like it's like as a DJ, it's not just about showing up and playing music or I think it's just a hustle. Because I was hustling for a while and realized like, how my career is not moving. Why I'm not, getting certain gigs and stuff like that. And then I start to do research.
Yes.
And then guess what I do? I go back to school. Yeah. Get certified. I'm CARICOM certified.
All right.
As a radio disc jockey, club DJ as well.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. So I take my time and I learn and I start to research different music. Now when certain groups comes in, I don't want a Spanish DJ, I don't speak the language. But I have the music. So
you don't speak the language yet. The music may teach you the language soon enough.
One or two, yes, and I'm diving into it, and it's like music is so powerful.
It is.
It take you places, opened doors like just Tuesday. I was on a $20 million yacht playing music for 10 person.
Wow.
For 10 person, you know. You know, I was like, in my life, I was like, when would I be on a yacht? Like, you know what I'm saying?
I know.
So for my career and for as a DJ, you as a DJ have to make up your mind what you want to do. And if you're doing something for more than 3 years, it cannot be a hustle anymore.
I like that.
You have to put in the groundwork of where you want to go and be consistent. And you have to listen to the right people. Yeah. Sometimes everybody on the floor dancing and one person, that one person is going, hey, I like your music. I have a wedding coming up. That's it. And everybody there, you play, you play one song, they don't like, after the DJ. But so I have learned the different, and what a lot of people don't understand about music itself is not just pressing a button. Music is therapy. Music is emotion. It plays on you. So based on what you're going through, your player's time can make you feel happy, it can make you feel sad. So you as a DJ now have to understand what you're doing. There's a chemistry to what you do. And if you don't understand that, you're just gonna just realize how you start, that's how your career is gonna end.
Excellent. You know, there's a word you used there just now before we go to break, because we have wonderful sponsors for our second hour in Horsfords. So remember to try Horsfords first. They always have something going on at Value Mart, at the automotive department, at the building department. In fact, I might be going there as I wrap up here, because there are things I need to get there as well. So try Horsfords first. We also have in the second hour Bougainvillea Books and Gifts. Of course, Lori and I are particularly fond of that space, and we want to give a special shout out. So is Marcia. And we want to give a special shout out to my mom of Chris Crafts, Christine McEachran, who's holding the fort for us, so that we can be here on air with you all this morning. So we will hear from our sponsors in a moment. But Flames, you use the word hustle, and just before we cut to break, it reminded me, I was speaking to another creative entrepreneur who has been in her business for probably a good decade at least. It is a business. She's traveled globally. She's, as you rightly said, you know, she's done the training, you know, because you've made that mental switch to say, look, this can't be a hustle anymore. But she was reflecting on being in spaces with other business people where they still refer to creative enterprise as a side hustle. And it's offensive, really, because you are a business person, you know what I mean? Yes, I've had your little business. So that is, you know, so it's interesting that you use that word, because it triggered that memory. And while I will say sometimes I admire the spirit of hustle, shall we say? Because people have that entrepreneurial drive that you might consider to be a hustle. But when you use that word, especially coupled with side, it minimizes the work. And, you know, just listening to you and not only the steps you've taken, but also the lifespan of your career, you know, and the type of work that you do. It's really professional. And we spoke with Marcia earlier about professionalizing these industries, and you are giving us kind of living testimony of how you do that. So you are our guide to take us away to our break. So we could go to our break now, hear from our wonderful sponsors, and we'll be back shortly.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Come, build with us at Hostels Building and Neva Centers. We don't just sell materials, we help you build your dreams. Whether it's a new home, a renovation, or a DIY project, we're here to make it happen. That's why we say, build with us. From foundation to finish, come to our stores where we have the best in building materials, hardware, tools, paints, expert advice, and more. Whatever you need, you can count on us. So if you're ready to get started, build with us. With Hostels Building and Neva Centers, you're not just building a structure, you're building a future. Let us help you create something amazing. Dream with us, plan with us, grow with us, build with us. Come build with us at Hostels Building and Neva Centers today. Build with us at Hostels.
Welcome to Bougainvillea Books and Gifts, where every visit is a journey through time and imagination. Step into a world of literary wonders at our boutique bookstore, where every book tells a story and every corner holds a treasure waiting to be discovered. Immerse yourself in the enchanting aromas of our scented candles, perfect for creating a cozy atmosphere in any space. Explore our exquisite handcrafted jewelry, whether you're searching for the perfect gift for that special someone or simply indulging in a little self-care. Bougainvillea Books and Gifts has something for everyone.
All right, we are back live with Creative Voices. It feels so wonderful to be back in studio 2026. It's exciting. We're off to a great start. We are now in the second hour of our program. So for you, those of you who are now joining us, we are having a wonderful conversation with DJ Flames, who's a member of our Creative Voices family, and he has such a wonderful story that he has started to share with us. We also had Marcia Jeffers earlier speaking about the new Creative Arts Center, so this is just a wonderful blend of practitioner with practice, with policy, with progress, with all of those nice words as we go along. So Flames, you know, I'm a little bit nerdy sometimes. So when I'm preparing for these interviews, I like to do a little bit of reading and research. And so in thinking about music, as you rightly said before we went to break, that music can make you feel happy. It can make you feel sad. It can evoke emotion. I remember Bono, I think he's the lead singer of U2.
Bono?
Isn't he?
I don't know.
And he was, anyway, he said that some moments in life call for, or some instances call for a moment of poetry. And poetry through song, you know, you've seen, for example, Bob Marley's music at, you know, moments of global moments of crisis, you know, it's like a clarion call for peace. And similarly, this is another thing that many musicians will do when they see that there is something that is not right in the world. They'll lend their talent because they can really effect meaningful change through music. And the DJ's role is very important in this. So like in looking at the kind of origins of DJ, I was like, where did this start? What was the beginning of this? And I found something interesting from someone named Bill Brewster, who was saying that the modern DJ's role as a performer has evolved immensely since its conception. So I think in the early 30s or something like that, the role was radio personalities who would select singles to be played over the radio, so like a radio disc jockey. And then it evolved now. What he's suggesting is that the contemporary role involves creating a seamless mix of music intended for an audience at clubs, a dance party, but I think also the radio DJs also have that kind of, people have that expectation of radio DJs now for more entertainment, more performer, you know, not just selecting and playing. Would you agree with that, or is your experience different?
So with the radio now, what I've realized with the radio, and as a DJ, I mean, sometimes the audience may feel like they have more opinion than you in your own thing that you live and breathe and train and you know, like, you know, I'm in this business for almost 25 years now. You know, so I have learned stuff. So when it comes to radio, what is happening with radio now, you're right, it's like they want to be entertained with the music. But back then, how I was brought up on the radio is just like a filler. You know, the music is select on radio is to get you through your day. You know, in the morning, you wake up, you want to hear some nice up-tempo music, you know, some positive music. You know, during lunchtime, you want something chill. And then after work, you have some, you know, some more up-tempo music, some soca, you know, but jolly music. But when you look at radio now, most of us as DJ, and you either have to adapt or you stick to what, you know, from what was then, and you're probably going to get phased out. But it's, for me, it's a yes and a no. For me, a radio, I don't want you to be at work and you feel like you in effect. For me, You catch me?
Unless you're working in a fetting kind of
environment,
environment, then that's okay.
Exactly. I mean, so it's like, you know, I was taught like from morning, you know, there's a different tempo from lunch to about 3 o'clock, and from 3 we call drive time. You're going home now. You have a few bangers, and you feel like you just done work. You're happy, so you could play a little fet. So for me, I'm 50-50 with it, you know, because radio is supposed to, you know, be positive, uplifting. You're going through the day. Hey, I know you have a little bill to pay, you know, but don't stress it, man. When you finish work, just have you know, you catch what I'm saying. You engage with the audience with the things you say to help them through the day, and the music to go with it too as well. So I'm 50-50 and that, because if you get the same thing on the radio, you get the same thing as in the club, it's just become repetitive, and then you're not gonna really want to go to the club when you could stay home and hear the same thing and sip on wine. You know. So I like to say, let radio be radio, and let the club be club. Let the fete to be fete. So I personally, I try to separate. You know what I do when I'm on the radio. Yes, in the week, my show is Musical Search. It consists of mainstream Monday. So Monday you're gonna get like some pop there, the Rihanna, the Drake. You know, Tuesday is Conscious Lovers Rock. You're gonna get some reggae. Now Wednesday it's midweek groove. You're gonna get more Billboard Top 40, the Sean Paul, the more more contemporary dancehall, like the hardcore dancehall. Thursday now is throwback. You get a little bit of soca, you get a little bit of everything, and then on Friday is anything goes.
Okay.
You know,
as
so
it should be.
Yeah, so it's all about you segmenting what you do. It's just like how I play for a wedding. I cannot play like that fully in a party setting.
Right.
You know, and as a DJ, you got to know your crowd, you got to know your audience. You know, and some of us as DJ too, we find ourselves in a pattern where that we know that these music are what banging. I play them, you play them, and the next someone play them. So it's like we are stifling music because the amount of music that comes out daily, weekly, yearly, most of them is not even getting played, and some of them are good music. So I kind of able to breed, because the audience I play for is very diverse. You know, like yesterday I went and played for a group at the Marriott. I think it was 600 and something group. There's some of them from Kentucky, some of them from other part of the states, and all I had to play was a few Caribbean reggae, rock music, and majority of country and western.
Right, because that's their music that they're looking for.
You know. So I can't think, because hey, they in the Caribbean, I have to give them all Caribbean music as well. So it's like I do different things, like where this group coming from, and then I go and research what kind of music they listen to, and I make sure I have them. If I don't have them, I also subscribe to DJ Pool. I spend money on my music. So I even someone come to me now and said, hey, you have this song? What's the name of the song? What's the name? No problem. I go and I iTunes, or go on my Pool. It's there. I download it. You know. So for me personally, when it comes to radio should be radio. Keep it how it is, because no matter what come into play, radio is going to be one of the longest form of entertainment or marketing or promotion entity. It's not going to go outdated.
All right.
Yeah.
I appreciate your outlook on it. It is very interesting to hear from the DJ's perspective, because we know when you go to an event, yes, I am only one person in a whole room, and I like this song, and if you could play it 3-4 times, I wouldn't mind. But then others were like, well, oh gosh, I'm tired of this song. We hearing it since last year. They're still playing it, and so it's really interesting to hear your perspective. And if we could shift to go back to the time when COVID hit. And there were a lot of DJs who started making YouTube videos because, of course, you're confined to a space. So they would push out their YouTube videos, and then those YouTube videos would be what people play in their bars, their events, and that sort of thing. Do you think that those YouTube videos sort of change the industry in a way? Because sometimes when I go out to an establishment, they're sometimes more often than not playing a YouTube mix of whatever genre of music, as opposed to the few places that would have a live DJ while you're eating, or steel pan, or that sort of thing. So do you think it has any effect?
It does. What I realize in business, and I said it earlier, a lot of people, they could be in business for 10 years, 20 years, they're still hustling. And when you hustle, you're looking to make what you can make by spending the least amount. And you're not realizing you're stifling the growth of your business. Because there's no way you could play a mix in a bar for the next 3 years or next years and get the same type of audience to come back and maintain that. So yes, it worked for a short while, but it's not going to be continued. People are going to be like, no man, last lap have something. I mean, vibes have something, so let's go over there. So you, the person who is playing off of YouTube, to me, they should, but they shouldn't. Because that's the next thing I don't really want to touch right now too, because
the license.
Yes, the license. You know, because I am making a living from people work. If you write a song, Rinch produced that song, did you sing that song? If did you go and perform that song, how you get paid and how Sarah get paid.
Right.
You know, so I believe in licensing, and even though I'm grateful for this creative center that we're going to be having, we have to make sure that we do the fundamental. We are talking about creatives, so that is something we need to touch. And it's
per ability, it's only one person. So I'm not, you know, liberalizing and freeing up all the music, and then they didn't have
downloads software.
No, it's gonna come to me. This is probably before your time, I think, Lori.
like Shazam, LimeWire.
No, long before that. The
ThinkShare.
No, way before. It's gonna come to me.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it will come to us.
I know
it will come to us. Or somebody,
about...
if you're listening, you can remind me what it is that it's like on the tip of my tongue, but all the wrong words are coming up. But anyhow, can you tell us a bit then about, because I'm quite intrigued by this, what is involved in creating a catalog of music? I remember when, you know, because you and I have been working together for a while now, and, you know, you've spoken about your library.
Yeah.
And you've also spoken about, you know, for example, your weekly schedule for programming. You know, you'll go to this, to that, to the other. You know, what's involved in that for a DJ? In terms of acquiring, in terms of storing, in terms of maintaining, in terms of cataloging, you know, give us a sense of that, because I think part of why we undervalue some creative enterprises because we don't fully grasp the type of work that is involved in the back end of it, only the part we see.
Perfect example. I have a wedding on the 31st of this month, and the bride and groom, they send what you call their playlist.
Right.
I want to say when they send a playlist, they pick out like what mother and father dance, first dance, bride and groom enter in for the first time. But for the party segment, they send a set list. So now I have to take my time now and go through that list, because I can just play them anyhow, you know, because some fast, some slow. So I have to take my time, group them. Some of the majority of them I will have, some of them I don't have. So even though you see they send me the list, some people might be thinking it's easier. It's not. So I have to sit down. I have to go through those music. I have to group them in genre, whether it's hip hop, whether it's R&B, whether it's reggae, and I have to beat them in what you call BPM now, because you can't play a song that is 100 BPM and then you go and want to play one that is.
For our listeners, not everybody knows what BPM is. I know. I'm sure Laurie knows. Beat per minute.
Yeah. So it's like the tempo of the song, you know.
Right.
So it's like, just imagine at a party and you have a sugar band song playing and bam, and then the DJ just stop the next song and just play reggae.
Hey, I don't like that at all.
It change your whole vibes, your whole, you know. So as a DJ now, is
and your dance moves too.
Yeah.
Embarrassing moment when the DJ does that too.
So at the end of the day, you know, you said something earlier about transition, seamless transition. You as a DJ now, most DJ, they will talk and stop the song and make you refresh yourself and say a few speech and stuff like that. But what I've learned over the years, what will make you a great DJ and what will actually make you stand out is your mixing, the ability to mix and transition from one journey to the next. So I could be playing a sugar band and decide I want to play a Barris. It's for me now how to groove those two songs together and hold them together while transition from the sugar band into the thing. So you hear the Barris coming on and you're rocking and you're grooving, and so by the time the Barris punchline hit, I already changed the tempo from you to lock in, and then you just continue dancing. You get what I'm saying? So that is the way you would have to go about doing it. And that's also you would have to do when you're preparing someone playlists, because if they give you different genres and different BPM, you have to now arrange that playlist in how you're going to mix it at the event. And that takes time. Takes time. And that's also a fee.
Yeah, that goes
So
back to the...
if it was a hustling thing now back then, I didn't understand that. I would have said, yeah, man, $300, and we realized to put in all of these work, all these time. You gotta set up, you gotta break down. Yeah.
Oh yes, and it's like, and that's the thing, that because we were speaking earlier about billing in the creative industries, and sometimes people say, well, that's expensive for an hour of your time, 2 hours of your time, but to get to that hour, 2 hours is a whole heap of hours that happened prior to. It's Napster, by the way, what I was trying to remember.
You're right.
I remember the stir part, but I couldn't remember what came in the beginning. Napster,
peer-to-peer share, that is when I actually realized the importance of buying music.
Having the rights to use it.
Because when you look at that affect a lot of DJ and a lot of places, because that platform, you could get anything. Reggaeton, merengue, salsa, bachata, the list goes on, and it was something that DJ used to hold dear. And then after that, they come up with these different pools and stuff like that. And to me, it's better now, because you work, you should be rewarded.
Yes.
Producers, songwriters, creative, whatever, no one's supposed to be taking your work. It's just like I said, someone, if you want music, I can give you some music. If you want me to do a mix for you, you're not paying me for the mix, because the music don't belongs to me. You pay me for the little time that I take to put the music together.
Yeah, we all have a role to play in the ecosystem. The term that we were using before. That is so very true.
And DJ now, as you said, is evolve. I must have been said, I've tried different stuff. I've seen stuff and tried where not a saxophonist will be playing. And the music I'm playing, we in sync, and we just, creating that vibes, even for at Shannon's wedding, this guy from Trinidad, the violinist the man was amazing. The music is playing, and he just it's a whole.
It's a compliment to what's happening.
And the first time I ever saw that, it was I think it was Rockaway Red.
Oh yes,
Rockaway Red. And I think LL was on the drum, and that was on the music, and it was following each other, and I was like, yo, that's a good concept.
Before we go to break, because we'll hear from our sponsors soon, but I experienced that on the road in Trinidad. I played with a band, The Lost Tribe, which was a fantastic experience a couple of years ago, and I love a good mass experience. But what made the experience, they didn't have live music on the truck, so that's something that you don't see very often anymore, I find, in Trinidad, unless you look specifically for it. But there were several trucks, because a very, very large band. But they had, and they gave you that was another thing that was interesting too. In addition to telling you what you're going to eat, what you're going to drink, what the route is, your meeting point, they also gave you the DJ lineup. So you knew which truck had which DJs on it. Yeah. So people who, follow certain DJs, they will know where their people are, that they like to listen to, and so on. But they had, on each truck, the DJ was playing, but they had live drummers. So you had a tassa drum, I think it was. Ooh. And I would, because, you're listening. Before I saw it, I was like, something so special with this. Like, so I said, with this DJ really rocking this drum thing, But then when I got closer to the truck, I realized, they're playing together, and it was such a, we spoke before about the evolution of creative practices, and, I thought that was, and we've had a saxophonist here a violinist for Music Festival as well, who did something similar, and, I find that really very, very exciting,
I enjoy that now, and I actually trying to put a package together for our establishment to do something like that.
Yeah, they should.
And I think Terror did something, I think was last year with the steel pan that 6 feet now. He did he did something like that as well. So it as I said, if you're in this business, it's like for me, it's not just about pressing button. It's like right now I can take your favorite song and put it on a zouk rhythm. Because if look at music. It was 8 tracks, it was cassette, it was CD, it was vinyl. Now it's MP3. So if you're in a business and you're not realizing the time is growing, time is evolving. Yeah. And you're not adapting to it. You're gonna get left behind, and when you're gonna be complaining, this. No, you just have to look what's going on, and try it.
Yeah. We're gonna cut to break now. Yes. However, you just jogged a memory when I was at UE St. Augustine in the 90s. We had a lot of. I lived on Hall, and it was predominantly Jamaicans, and the music. I remember well, in Trinidad, they play, even though Trinidad is known to be the soca country, outside of carnival time, they actually listen to probably more dance hall than soca. They love dance hall in Trinidad. And we always used to say that, you know, somebody would come out with like Tony Braxton or so would have this R&B song. You like the song, but then before you blink, there's a dance hall.
Oh, yes.
You know, and mix comes out, it's like you don't want to hear the original anymore. You know, it's like the original is just too bland. It's like it's like eating food without seasoning and then eating it with seasoning. So we'll cut to our sponsors and we'll come right back. So thanks guys for tuning in. We'll be back shortly.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Come, build with us at Hostels Building and Neva Centers. We don't just sell materials, we help you build your dreams. Whether it's a new home, a renovation, or a DIY project, we're here to make it happen. That's why we say, build with us. From foundation to finish, come to our stores where we have the best in building materials, hardware, tools, paints, expert advice, and more. Whatever you need, you can count on us. So if you're ready to get started, build with us. With Hostels Building and Neva Centers, you're not just building a structure, you're building a future. Let us help you create something amazing. Dream with us, plan with us, grow with us, build with us. Come build with us at Hostels Building and Neva Centers today. Build with us at Hostels.
Welcome to Bougainvillea Books and Gifts, where every visit is a journey through time and imagination. Step into a world of literary wonders at our boutique bookstore, where every book tells a story and every corner holds a treasure waiting to be discovered. Immerse yourself in the enchanting aromas of our scented candles, perfect for creating a cozy atmosphere in any space. Explore our exquisite handcrafted jewelry, whether you're searching for the perfect gift for that special someone or simply indulging in a little self-care. Bougainvillea Books and Gifts has something for everyone.
All right, welcome back to Creative Voices. It has been a wonderful Friday morning, and we were hearing from DJ Flames, our right-hand man in Creative Voices, part of the Creative Voices family, on his musical journey. And as we continue the conversation, so Flames, you know, we do our research and we have lots of quotes and all sorts of things. Yeah. So there is, in an interview, Bob Marley once said that the only consciousness I have of myself is that I can be beneficial to a people. Now, does this concept of consciousness connect in any way with the various creative roles that you do and the type of music that you choose to play?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. When you look at, say Sarah is getting married.
Yeah, married, happily married, you know? Nearly 22 years.
No, just saying. She says she's getting married. She have never done this before. You know, it is her. I think that what's the marriage is your most important day of your life.
Can be.
Depends.
You know, and as a DJ, it's your job to make sure that everything. Not the cameraman, not the video guy. They could do what they can do. They could take 3 pictures. They have room to fix that. They could take a next picture. They could tell us, we don't have room for errors.
Yes,
I never thought about that.
That's so true.
We don't. If the mic stop work, the first thing everybody looking at
the DJ.
The music cut out, the DJ. So I don't know if other DJs see it. We create memories.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lifelong memories.
Yes.
I mean, not to sound a little bit off, but you know, I have known couples that, based on the music I was playing and the things I was saying in the mic and getting one dance, they're happily married today.
All right.
You understand? That's the type of vibe. Like how I grew up and listening to music and the veterans, how they used to speak and how they set. It's not it's like you're driving a standard. How they gear 1, gear 2, the way they put the music and you're going and you always say, I know you're watching the girl at the bar, just go over and say something, buy her a drink. No, like
you read in the room and you see
it. You see it. Yeah. You see it. And the guy go over, and they're laughing, blushing, and then they actually call you to play for the wedding.
Lovely.
So that's my testimony of what Bob Marley said. We create that, that happy moment that, and also we can leave a bad taste.
True.
Music is very powerful, and earlier I said it's it's emotions.
Yes.
Based on the time and what someone going through, and you say the wrong thing, and someone brush on someone, and it spark.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would say that I would add to that list that you just, with my own experience of your playing too, is that you can also protect. Yes. Because I remember on one occasion I really wanted the importance of the DJ really helping to guide us through that moment, and then fast forward a couple decades later, and the moment is still still there. So we are coming close to the close of the program, which is unbelievable, and I know that you are normally the one who keeps us on time,
yes.
so we'd know that we have the news to cut to shortly, but we wanted to get from you something that we like to get from all of our guests on Creative Voices as well, is words of advice, to those who are listening. Yes, what would you say to them as they may be in varying stages of their own creative journeys and so on? What would you share that you think is particularly beneficial to those who are listening?
Okay. Residency is important. So if you're starting out or you're already in the business and you just realize you're just getting one booking on and off in the month, it's for you to go and look at a bar, look at an establishment, and see what you can reach and negotiate with that person to be. People would say they call it residency, but in the term we say house DJ.
Okay.
So in the broad term is a residency. And you could be a residency for 6 months. At that place, you play there every Friday. Whether you're charging them 300, 500, but that's where you're going to help you to be structured. That's where you're going to help you to see different people coming through, and learn from them. You're going to get music from them. And if you really want to be in this business long term, you have to start using a contract.
Yes.
It is important. You have to also get a deposit. It's very important. I mean, imagine you are going to play for, I'm going to use a wedding, and you're setting up 3 different locations. Your sound is good to set up for one location. Now you have to go and either rent, borrow, or buy other equipment. So you have to have a mobilization fee.
Yeah.
You have to. So you have to make sure that you use a contract, make sure that, and I don't mean you get up and make up a contract. Go to a lawyer. Yes, go to a lawyer. He's going to look at the Constitution of St. Kitts and Nevis, and you're going to draft up your contract pertaining to that.
Okay.
So you do that, and you also, it could be 40%, it could be, I do 50% deposit. I don't do it all the time because based on being in the business, I know who is who. So I know I'm going to get paid. So if it's someone I don't really know, never do business with before, you have to.
So use your discretion.
Use my discretion. I don't mean just, you can't just say, it's just across the board. You got to know when to adjust. And when you be in the business, you're going to learn, because one of the hardest thing in this business is when you're finished play and have to wait months for getting paid. So in order to eliminate that, advise yourself and advise your other colleagues to let us do contract. Let us ask for a 50% deposit. I'm not saying a regular nightclub, that's different. But you're going to play for a wedding, 50% deposit. You're going to play for a group coming from overseas. Just imagine you go and play for destination wedding, and when everyone fly out, you don't get paid. I'm just saying.
I think the photographers had similar words of advice because they do that destination type work too.
Yeah, so you have to. You put stipulation after the deposit, after the job complete, it could be right after our 7 or 14 days. Just like our cable, if you don't pay your bill on time, you pay a 5% late fee or a $5 late fee. So, think business-wise, and get good quality music. You might be a hardcore DJ, dancehall DJ or hip-hop DJ, but music, playing music, variety of music is going to make you more money.
Yes.
Right.
You know, so don't afraid to make sure that you get the soca song, you go back. Don't afraid to get the reggaeton. Don't afraid to get the country and western, because I'm not going to be doing it forever. And what we have in right now in the corporate setting in St. is we don't have the quality or the professionalism of entertainers. I mean, someone might knock me for this, but you don't have the quality of the professional in the entertainment sector to cover most of the corporate. Sometime even December, 4 different companies calling me. They're calling Terror. They're calling a few person.
Because based on the kind of atmosphere that they want to create, only a few DJs.
Yes, and you can't wait until you get a reggaeton, a Latin group or a Latin party to play for to say you're gonna go and look for Latin music. You know, you should be go just like how you go. You're looking for the latest dancehall. Look for the latest reggaeton too as well. The latest merengue salsa. You put them. You stay home. You do a hour set. You put them aside, and because sometimes these parties just 2-3 hours. You know, so you get the music. You know. Get the music.
So there's prep work you can do so that you can eliminate some of the time it will take for different types of gigs because you know what they might be looking for.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So just like when I get the itinerary and the breakdown what music they want, I already have several sets that I have created for that.
So just to cue them up.
They already queued everything.
All right.
You gotta
but
put in the work.
I remember there were certain DJs back in the day that you would know their set sometimes depending on the event because they have it queued up.
Oh,
so
you hear in the same
time. You know their set. You know what you're gonna get. You know they already have it. And that's also in the days of what was the name of there was an album. So in the CD days, you know, before all this streaming, you had to buy the CD, and that's the only how you would listening to the radio, buying these top of the charts type CDs. There was a Reggae Gold album, I think it was, that used to come out every
year.
Yes.
And that would be the song. Those would be, you know. So I remember my children asking me, "Mommy, are you serious? Like, is this a serious question?" One of my sons said to me, "Mommy, I think you're too intelligent to ask some of the questions you ask sometimes." You know, because I asked them, "How do you all know like?" What the popular music is like when I hear them singing online, how you know, because there's no radio, you're not
they don't have CDs.
Like, how you know this like how you know this is a popular, and they're like, "Mommy, seriously?" Of course it's social media, YouTube, but they were surprised they had to break it down to me because I still can't quite that's still not how I access music. So I still listen to the radio. I still look at, you know, like when I go out I will hear certain things. Now I listen to certain playlists if I'm going to Barbados for crop over, Trinidad for carnival. I want to know,
you're preparing.
You know, but I don't think I've quite clued into you know the new way.
The new way, for example, and
Laura's
they're right.
Because she's young.
They're right.
Yes.
For me, I can pull up a country and western song on YouTube, and what YouTube does. It will continue to play.
Yes, it will suggest.
I do that.
Suggest.
Yeah, that's true.
And it will show you that this song is released 2 weeks ago or a week ago. And I also use the Billboard, the country music Billboard. I use the top 40 Billboard.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not just, like, as a DJ, most of my work is done behind the scene.
Yes.
When I show up to play, I already have everything preset, stuff like that. Yes, some people might come and ask for music on the fly. And you're right with the set. Some people like do the same set. What I do, if I play 5 soca songs back to back here, I go somewhere else to play, I take out one, I put in 3 different ones, and you know, it's just for you to find ways of not like, yo, like I know what coming, because when you could anticipate what coming next, it don't give you the authentic
It's not the
feel.
same. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you feel kind of shortchanged, right?
You know?
Yeah.
Like
So
I could listen to this at home.
Yeah.
that is like I give you one of my reggae mix them and you're listening. You might go somewhere and hear me play it. You know, you could do it word for word. That's different.
Right.
You know, so even though I send out my mixes, there are people who hear me playing on radio because I go places and hear people playing how I normally play. And I said, I like that. Because when they come on either before me or after me, guess what? I'm not going down that road.
Yes, because you already went there, so
You know?
I'm going.
So, and based on the environment, and based on who in front of me, based on the time I'm playing.
We didn't even touch on
You know?
that.
Yeah.
When you're one DJ in a lineup of DJs,
Yes.
and you because sometimes I have heard, I think Cynthia speak to this before, where people come and say, you know, sometimes it's almost burdensome on the DJ. We have people coming up all the time, play this,
As
play
if
that,
it-
but
Yes,
they just play, or why are you playing this? We just heard it in the last set, but I know we have to cut to news, so
Yes.
I want to thank you very much, DJ Flames, for being with us today in this new capacity as our guest. It has been insightful, it has been wonderful. Lori in her new capacity as co-host, so we are together on this now. So
and there's a lot more. So whenever you guys are ready,
awesome.
I'm here.
Awesome.
And I definitely have a large list of DJs that we can get to.
Yes, a panel.
Yes.
I like the sound of that.
Yes.
I like the sound of that. So both conversations we started today with the creative economy, also with Flames. So thanks to Marcia, thanks to Flames. And stay tuned, folks. Some interesting things happening in the country that we will hear about, and in the region and in the world, in our news package upcoming. Blessings and thanks to our listeners as well as our sponsors.
You found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Now loans, cash at the speed of life, so fast you won't believe it. Now loans, cash at the speed of life, right now, right now. If you need cash in a flash with now, no need to fuss, leave it to us. When you need cash in a flash, no need to fuss, leave it to us. Hear me now. Now loans, cash at the speed of life, so fast you won't believe it. Now loans, cash at the speed of life, right now, right now. Approved in a day, yeah, yeah. Some money on the way, yeah, yeah. Approved in a day, oh, yeah, you know it's coming.
When life throws surprises your way, Now's here to help. Whether it's for an urgent bill payment, home improvements, or unexpected health expenses, or even that last-minute holiday trip, with Now, you get cash in a flash, approved in just 24 hours.
Approved in a day, yeah, yeah. Some money on the way, yeah, yeah. Approved in a day, oh, yeah, you know it's coming. Now loans, cash at the speed of life, so fast you won't believe it. Now loans, cash at the speed of life, right now, right now.
A loan product powered by National Bank.
With the WinFM Midday News, I am Kevon Brown. Our top stories: ECCB Chief Policy Director updates public on the work of the Office of Financial Conduct and Inclusion. Diplomats meet with Guyana House Speaker. Internationally, Russia-Ukraine-US negotiations, UAE to host first trilateral talks on ending war. Now the details. Across the Eastern Caribbean, people have raised concerns about fees, fairness, access, and treatment in the financial system, and the ECCB has responded. The Office of Financial Conduct and Inclusion, approved by the Monetary Council in 2024, was created to protect consumers, ensure fair treatment, improve transparency, and prevent exclusion from financial services. Shanna Derrick, Communications Officer, acting in the Corporate Communications Department, sat down with Chief Policy Director D. Tracy Polius to discuss the work being done in the Office of Financial Conduct and Inclusion.
It is a financial consumer protection mechanism for consumers who do business with our banks, what we call licensed financial institutions under the Banking Act 2015. When that office is established, customers will have opportunities for redress and opportunities to address their complaints to the LFIs, and if those are not addressed, customers will have established mechanisms to ensure that those complaints get some attention.
Now, why should the average person care about this initiative?
The amendments that have been made to the Banking Act 2015 will allow customers to know their rights under that piece of legislation, and it will also allow them to know the obligations that the banks have towards them.
The ECCB made this step in creating this office to address the grievances of the people in the ECCU who struggle to understand certain developments in the financial world that affect customers.
We pursued this initiative as a response to the number of complaints, as you alluded to, from persons across the region about doing business with the LFIs. But that is not the only reason. We recognize that technology increasingly is being deployed to provide financial services. And with that comes a number of risks. Risk of frauds and scams, and also risk of exclusion from the financial system, as many are not able to utilize the technology.
Since the office was commissioned, Polia said significant work has been done through legislation and that the office continues to engage with the people of the currency union to address further issues.
So in 2024, the approval was granted, February 2024, and since then we've done quite a bit of work. We have drafted amendments to the Banking Act, and those amendments are called the Banking Amendment Bill 2024, so we finalized that in 2024. And we had consultations with our attorneys general's chambers, and we've received feedback from them, and those were incorporated, and the final bill was transmitted to our member countries for passage. And we are pleased to report that 3 member countries have passed so far, St. Vincent and the Grenadines being the first, Antigua and Barbuda, and St. Kitts Nevis. We have also undertaken a range of consultations in all of our member countries. We've consulted with the LFIs, the banks, on the amendments to the Banking Act. The new Banking Act will now have a section dedicated to financial consumer protection. We have consulted in member countries with our ministries of finance, with our attorneys generals, as I spoke before, associations for and of disabled, our consumer protection agencies, our financial intelligence authorities, our ministries with responsibility for education and consumer protection, and a range of stakeholders, including sometimes the opposition and governments.
According to Polia,
and that will allow us to develop more comprehensive, what we call codes of conduct, to address key issues under the Banking Act. So for instance, when we met with associations for the disabled and we found out how they have been treated and how they can potentially be excluded, we've also received suggestions from the public as to how we can help them and how we could design codes of conduct that will allow them full participation within the banking sector.
The Chief Policy Officer said the ECCB will use the complaints and suggestions to develop further and strengthen the region's financial system, making it easier to navigate for people while keeping the sector secure from abuse and exploitation.
In regional news,
current acting clerk of Grenada Parliament identified as the person to replace long-serving former Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell in his constituency for the opposition New National Party. A political baton was passed in Grenada Thursday night when former Grenada Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell formally stepped down as his party's standard bearer in St. George's Northwest. He officially handed over the mantle of his constituency Thursday night during a New National Party meeting in his home village of Happy Hill to Adrian Joseph, a career civil servant, former head of protocol and current acting clerk of Parliament. Dr. Mitchell came into the meeting to loud cheers just after Joseph had marched in amidst same fanfare. Emmeline Pear, who has replaced Dr. Mitchell as both opposition leader and NNP political leader, said by making this final move, the former Prime Minister kept his word.
Many have commented, and I'm sure you've heard, Dr. Mitchell will never give up leadership of the party. And when he did, the next conversation was he would never give up leader of the opposition. And when he did, The next conversation is, we sure he would never give up leadership of the constituency. Brothers and sisters, I believe what we have before us tonight is a true leader at heart.
Being named caretaker is traditionally a prelude to being declared the candidate, a process that is widely expected to take place, putting Joseph in line to become the next MP for the area in a seat that has been the party's most reliable in 45 years. Joseph, it was rumored, was being courted by the two other main political parties in Grenada, but in the end he stuck with the party he was most associated with. Some say Joseph's official entry into frontline politics might be the biggest boost the party has received in almost 3 years. In a farewell address reflecting on his entry and impact in politics, Dr. Mitchell said, however, he's not completely giving up the political fight, saying he still wants to work to see the back of this current government. Saying he has big shoes to fill, Joseph told cheering supporters that he was ready for the fight. Dr. Mitchell walked off the stage finally as Joseph and others celebrated on the night of what could be a decisive turn in local politics. A UN-backed security force deployed to Haiti to help local police fight off armed gangs that have taken over much of the country should get more troops in April and reach full strength by summer, the UN's special envoy for Haiti said on Thursday. The pledge of more troops comes at a time of growing political uncertainty in the Caribbean nation, with the current transitional government's mandate set to end on February 7 without an official succession plan. UN envoy Carlos Ruiz said the force should reach its full strength, envisioned at 5,500 troops by the summer or autumn at latest. He did not say where the troops would come from. Around 1,000, most likely Kenyan police, are currently in Haiti as part of the force, a deployment that has been marked by delays and severe lack of funding. Since the first deployment in June 2024, gangs have expanded to much of central and rural Haiti. The Trump administration is actively seeking regime change in Cuba and hopes to cut a deal to end communist rule on the island by the end of the year, according to media reports. To facilitate the political transition, the Trump administration is searching for Cuban government insiders who could help the U.S. push the existing communist leaders out of power, the Wall Street Journal reported on Wednesday. A concrete plan for doing away with the communist government that has ruled Cuba for nearly 70 years has not yet been developed, according to the outlet, but the U.S. says the government's grip on the island has never been more fragile. In the wake of Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro's ouster, Cuba's economy is on the brink of collapse, U.S. officials told the outlet. The administration of U.S. President Donald Trump has canceled solar projects in Puerto Rico worth millions of dollars as the island struggles with chronic power outages and a crumbling electric grid. The projects were aimed at helping 30,000 low-income families in rural areas across the U.S. territory as part of a now fading transition towards renewable energy. In an email, the U.S. Energy Department said that a push on Puerto Rico's former governor for a 100% renewable future threatened the reliability of its energy system.
Diplomats meet with Guyana House Speaker, News Source Guyana reports.
At the request of one of the members of the diplomatic community, Speaker of the National Assembly Mansour Nadir met with foreign diplomats here in Guyana, 2 days after he lashed out at some of them while announcing a date for the election of the opposition leader. The meeting went on for over an hour at the Parliament buildings, and according to U.S. Ambassador to Guyana, Nicole Theriot, the meeting was informal and interesting.
Yes, so it was just a very interesting informal meeting with the Speaker, and we just talked a little bit about the upcoming session of Parliament for the budget and the upcoming election for the leader of the opposition.
The U.S. Ambassador confirmed that the meeting was requested by the diplomatic corps in Guyana on the issue of the Speaker singling out the U.S. for criticism over her earlier call for the election of the leader of the opposition to take place without delay. Ambassador Theriot said the Speaker is entitled to his opinion and she did not feel targeted.
He didn't. I don't feel like he targeted us. I think he was simply expressing his opinion, which he has the right to do. So thank you.
In his statement 2 days ago, the Speaker of the National Assembly, Mansour Nadir, described as absurd the position of the Western diplomats who were calling for the election for the opposition leader to take place without delay. The 13th Parliament was convened in early November, but the office of the opposition leader was left empty, as no date was set for the election of the opposition leader to take place. The Win Party is the largest party in the opposition, and its leader, Azruddin Mohammed, is the presumptive leader of the opposition. Mohammed and his father are currently fighting off an extradition request by the U.S. to face an 11-count indictment in Florida related to allegations of wire and mail fraud and tax evasion related to gold exports from Guyana. Both the father and son have denied the allegations and are fighting the extradition request. The Speaker in his statement admitted to not earlier setting a date for the elections because he is uncomfortable with Mohammed becoming the holder of the constitutional office. He described Mohammed as an international fugitive offender, while also noting that he remains under U.S. sanctions. Canadian High Commissioner to Guyana, Sebastian Sigon, said the election of the opposition leader taking place would be a good thing for Guyana.
No real comments. We will have Parliament meeting on Monday with the election of the leader of the opposition. That's a good thing for Guyana. Thank you.
As we have been reporting, the meeting for the leader of the opposition is set for Monday morning at 10 o'clock.
We now bring you these international reports.
Ukraine, Russia and the US will have their first trilateral meeting on ending the war in Ukraine. Talks are expected to take place in Abu Dhabi over 2 days. Dmitry Medvedenko explains why this time it could be a bigger step towards peace.
Moscow, Kiev and Washington set to be in the same room for the first time in 4 years since the war in Ukraine began. The announcement came from Ukraine's President Zelensky after talks with Donald Trump in Davos.
I think that if all the sides will work a lot, we will end this war. But if somebody will, just playing the games, I don't know who, but I'm just sharing with you. If somebody will play the games, and the war will continue.
The US president, returning from Davos, was asked the logical question.
Did something change that makes you think that Putin and Zelensky now are serious about it?
I don't make any predictions. There are no changes. I think that President Putin would like to make a deal. I think that President Zelensky would like to make a deal.
The three sides have had numerous two-way meetings. This time, Russia will be represented by Igor Kostyukov. He is the senior-most official to represent Moscow at the negotiating table. He heads Russia's military intelligence and is one of the top people in the armed forces. Another signal from the Kremlin that it's ready for some compromise is Vladimir Putin agreeing to use Russian cash frozen by US sanctions to fund post-war reconstruction, stopping short of saying it's for Kiev.
The remaining funds from our frozen assets in the US could be used to rebuild territories damaged by the fighting after a peace treaty is concluded between Russia and Ukraine.
After 4 years of fighting, Russia still occupies around 20% of Ukraine with slow advances. One of the key stumbling blocks is what happens to this territory. Russia wants its control recognized, and for Ukraine to pull out of the Donetsk region, where Ukraine still holds the massively fortified belt of cities from Konstantinivka to Slavyansk.
Without resolving the territorial issue, there is no hope of achieving a long-term settlement.
Zelensky says any territorial concessions would require a referendum. Russia has been keeping Ukraine in a cold chokehold, targeting energy infrastructure and leaving thousands without heat or electricity during sub-zero temperatures, something Kiev may want to address in Abu Dhabi and perhaps offer to stop attacking Russian oil and gas facilities. While those attacks are painful for Russia's economy, Moscow wants a comprehensive peace deal, not just a ceasefire. Dmitry Medvedenko, Al Jazeera.
Well, we've got two correspondents on this on both sides of the divide in Ukraine and Russia. But first, let's go to Audrey McAlpine in Kiev. Good to see you, Audrey. So according to the Americans, 90% of the deal is nearly there, but then, of course, there's that final 10% containing some pretty critical issues on territory, security guarantees, the Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant that both claim. What kind of momentum, Audrey, are you seeing around these talks?
Yeah, and frankly, Neve, that 90% doesn't mean much if the most sticking points are the points that remain, and those are the points that have stalled talks up until now. In Davos, U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff said that it's down to one issue, and even this morning, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky saying that it's the Donbass is key. The Donbass is this contested area containing Luhansk and Donetsk regions in eastern Ukraine, of which Ukraine still does hold a small foothold. Now, Ukraine has suggested that it is willing to remove military forces from this area to create a neutral buffer zone, but only if Russia does the same. The U.S. has proposed a possible free economic zone to boost industry and to bring back business into this area, but Russia has historically called for Ukraine to remove its troops entirely from this region, to remove its troops from areas that it still holds. So this will be the sticking point. It's a fairly wide gap that these two sides have to come together on. So yes, there is momentum and the process is moving forward, but as Zelensky has said, we are not standing still, but still the question will be, is Russia ready to discuss this peace framework that the United States, the EU, and Ukraine have been quietly putting together over the past several weeks, or will it stick to its maximalist demands?
Well, that, of course, is the question for Moscow, isn't it? Yulia Shapovalova is there. Yulia, when it comes to the significance that Moscow is placing on these high-stakes talks in Abu Dhabi, what are you hearing?
Well, the significance is that the warring parties meet and try to communicate despite all the differences in their positions. And, of course, a whole host of questions are going to be discussed. As we know, the main outcome of Putin and Witkoff's late last night negotiations that lasted almost 4 hours is that the territorial dispute and security guarantees remain unresolved. Basically, this is the main sticking point. Everyone is talking about the Russian side demands that Ukrainian army leave Donbass, which is absolutely unacceptable for Ukraine. That's why the main issue that will be discussed at the trilateral meeting in Abu Dhabi will be the territorial control in eastern Ukraine. From Russia, from the Russian side, as we just heard in the package in the report, the chief negotiator will be the head of the General Staff's main directorate, its intelligence department, Igor Kostikov, and all the members of the Russian delegation reportedly received specific instructions from Vladimir Putin himself after the conclusion of the talks with the U.S. delegation last night. And also, according to presidential aide Yuri Ushakov, the U.S. has done a great job to prepare for the meeting of this group and hopes that it will open prospects for ending this conflict. And we also know that Russian and U.S. Special Envoys Kirill Dmitriev and Steve Witkoff will hold negotiations too on Friday and on Saturday as part of a bilateral working group on economic affairs. So we're looking forward to hearing from Abu Dhabi, and we'll, of course, keep you posted on that.
Just to repeat, of course, the first trilateral talks in 4 years of war in Ukraine.
Let's turn to Greenland now, where it's been confirmed that Denmark's Prime Minister is travelling from Brussels to Greenland to meet the territory's Prime Minister. Meanwhile, the European Union says it will defend itself against any form of coercion after President Trump withdrew his threat to levy tariffs on US allies who opposed his plan to take over Greenland. EU leaders held an emergency meeting in Brussels. Mr. Trump says a framework deal reached with the NATO Secretary General would allow the US to achieve everything it wanted in the semi-autonomous Danish territory. EU leaders said they would work to implement it, but once again insisted only Denmark and Greenland could decide the future of Greenland. Here's the EU Commission President, Ursula von der Leyen.
First on Greenland,
We are clearly in a better position than we were 24 hours ago. And tonight we drew the lessons of our collective strategy. So what did we do? First of all, there was, as you said, Antonio, unequivocal solidarity with Greenland and Denmark. Second, we also stood firmly with the 6 member states that were threatened with tariffs. Third point, we engaged very actively with the United States on various levels. We did so in a firm but non-escalatory manner. And the fourth point was that we are well prepared with trade countermeasures and non-tariff instruments if tariffs would have been applied.
Our correspondent Nick Beek has more on the mood in Brussels.
I think there's a real sense of relief that President Trump stepped back, first of all in saying that he would no longer contemplate the idea of using military force to take Greenland, and then secondly when he removed that tariff threat against those 8 European nations. So there is that sense of satisfaction that what they believe here was a very strong approach, one typified by being united, worked. And specifically what they're saying, and we heard it there from Ursula von der Leyen, is that the fact that the Europeans really toughened their rhetoric, but also talked quite specifically at times about the possible economic counterstrike they might launch on the Americans in the future. They believe this helped change President Trump's mind. I think worth pointing out, though, that the chronology, of course, was that Mr. Trump made this big U-turn after meeting Mark Rutte, the head of NATO, the NATO boss, in this meeting that was a bilateral one. It wasn't with all the other Europeans invited. And we don't really know what this framework of a deal that Mr. Trump says is brilliant for everyone, what that consists of. And I think the Europeans, in particular Denmark and Greenland, they'll want to know that pretty sharpish.
Yes, we don't know the details of this framework agreement that you mentioned there. Could this issue come up again if it really hasn't been resolved from what we can see?
Absolutely, and I think the fact that President Trump, despite his double shift in position, has been pretty clear that he says the United States has to have Greenland, not just for its security, but for global security, so that hasn't gone away. And there's been some suggestion that maybe what could be done is that there are US bases in Greenland that are created. There's already a big one there now, but if there are other ones and the presence is increased, maybe these little pockets could become American. The problem is that flies in the face of what the Europeans say is acceptable. They say, yes, the Americans are welcome to bring more soldiers and more defense capability, and that could benefit everyone in the West. But the idea of sovereignty, the territory changing hands, is not up for negotiation. So, you know, if you put it like that, it's still hard to see how those two different conflicting angles can be resolved.
Well, I'm proud of the fact that we're standing behind law enforcement.
U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance defended the actions of ICE officers who detained a 5-year-old this week during federal immigration operations in Minneapolis. Reuters obtained and verified images of the incident where, according to witnesses, agents motioned for Liam Conejo Ramos to knock on his family's back door before he was eventually taken. The incident has sparked new outrage after weeks of unrest over the thousands of federal agents in the city. In remarks Vance made while visiting the city Thursday, the vice president accused the media of misrepresenting the event.
How did we arrest a 5-year-old? Well, I did a little bit more follow-up research. And what I find is that the 5-year-old was not arrested, that his dad was an illegal alien, and then when they went to arrest his illegal alien father, the father ran. So the story is that ICE detained a 5-year-old. Well, what are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to let a 5-year-old child freeze to death? Are they not supposed to arrest an illegal alien in the United States of America?
However, hours after Vance's remarks, a lawyer representing the 5-year-old's family said they were in the U.S. legally after applying for asylum in 2024.
They did everything right when they came in. They used the app. They made an appointment, they came to the border and presented themselves to Customs and Border Patrol. They've shared all of their information with the government, and they were following the process.
The lawyer also denied that the boy's father tried to flee and said that the boy's mother stayed inside for fear she would be detained too. Rachel James, a local city council member who said she witnessed the incident, says Liam watched masked agents take his father from the driveway of their home before he too was taken.
I can't imagine what was going through Liam's mind, but I can tell you what I saw on his face. He was frozen and paralyzed. He was not crying, but he looked so scared.
The Department of Homeland Security said the boy's father, Adrian Alexander Conejo Arias, was in the country illegally, but did not provide details. Liam's school district says he was one of 4 children taken from the district by federal agents. Vance's visit to Minneapolis marks a renewed effort by President Donald Trump's administration to win public support for its immigration crackdown. Democratic officials, including City Mayor Jacob Frey, have accused the administration of deliberately trying to spark unrest and said the presence of federal officers is causing chaos.
We could do a lot more with more cooperation.
On Thursday, Vance said local officials' refusal to aid immigration agents was to blame.
Wall Street's favourite trade assumed Trump always blinks, but has it been exhausted? For the past 9 months, one of the most profitable bets has been the so-called taco trade, short for Trump always chickens out. Investors are learning to shrug off aggressive policy threats and keep buying risk, but that trade may be running into trouble. If markets no longer sell off hard enough to force a retreat, is it time for a new strategy? Joachim Clement is head of strategy at Palmer Liberum. So Joachim, Tuesday's sell-off may be the clearest sign yet that taco's immunity is fading. The S&P 500 wiped out its 2026 gains. So is this strategy no longer a safe bet?
Well, I think that what we've learned at the beginning of this year is not only that Donald Trump will come back and then might chicken out if the market reacts too badly, but importantly, that he will come back. And so I think the market now is in a position where it says, like, Donald Trump might have reversed course this week, but we have no idea when he will come back, whether that is in a month or in 3 months or in 6 months' time.
Meanwhile, hedging against an equity sell-off has fallen to some of the lowest levels in years, as according to the latest Bank of America survey. So are investors dangerously unprepared?
I do think that there's a lot of optimism going into 2026, particularly about certain parts of the market, obviously the tech space in the US. But we also do see a broadening out of the rally. And I think there are opportunities outside the tech space in the US where there is good money to be made.
Well, Ray Dalio says that global investors are diversifying away from US assets. Will that shift accelerate as tariff threats remain a core part of Trump's playbook?
Absolutely. Whenever we talk to major investors in Europe or Asia, the diversification trade away from the U.S., not abandoning the U.S., but diversifying away from it, is top of the list of things to do in 2026. And that should lead to continued downward pressure on the U.S. dollar in particular.
Let's talk more about that diversification. And some expect European stocks to ride out trade and geopolitical tensions. Is Europe the most compelling alternative?
I do think that for 2026, Europe is a compelling alternative. However, Europe has its own problems with a lack of GDP growth outside of Germany's infrastructure boom and the overall defense boom. So overall, I think diversification in the sense of betting on different horses is really key for 2026 because we expect European markets to have similar returns to the US this year.
So finally, Joachim, earnings season is picking up. We've already seen Netflix and Intel disappoint with weak outlooks. Has the bar been set too high for companies to clear this quarter?
There is definitely a so-called Q4 effect where companies tend to disappoint more often in the fourth quarter results. That is simply because the attention of investors is already focusing on 2026 and the guidance. And I don't think that this earnings season, early as it is any way different from other earnings seasons. The key really is what kind of guidance do these companies give for the coming year.
You are listening to the Midday News on winnfm 98.9. The headlines?
ECCB Chief Policy Director updates public on the work of the Office of Financial Conduct and Inclusion. Diplomats meet with Guyana House Speaker. Internationally, Russia-Ukraine-US negotiations, UAE to host first trilateral talks on ending war.
Thank you for listening.
Now loans, cash at the speed of light, so fast you won't believe it. Now loans, cash at the
When life throws surprises your way, Now's here to help. Whether it's for an urgent bill payment, home improvements, or unexpected health expenses, or even that last-minute holiday trip, with Now, you get cash in a flash, approved in just 24 hours. Approved in a day, yeah, yeah. Some money on the way, yeah, yeah. Approved in a day, oh, yeah, you know it's coming. Now, loans, cash at the speed of life, so fast you won't believe it. Now, loans, cash at the speed of life, right now, right now. A loan product powered by National Bank.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organisation on St Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Every day I wake and everything is broken. Turning off my phone just to get out of bed. Get home every evening and history's repeating. Turning off my phone 'cause it's hurting my chest. Yeah. Can't sit and hope, I can't just sit and pray that I can find a love when all I see is pain. Falling to my knees, and though I do believe, I can't just breathe, baby, breathe. I can't just breathe, baby, breathe. All I hear is voices, everybody's talking. Nothing real is happening 'cause nothing is new. Now when all is tragic and I just feel sedated, why do I feel numb? Is that all I can do? Yeah, and heaven knows I'm not helpless. Yeah, but I'm only human. I can't see the use in me crying if I'm not even trying to make the change I wanna see. I can't sit and hope, I can't just sit and pray that I can find a love when all I see is pain. I fall into my knees, and though I do believe, I can't just breathe, baby, breathe. I can't just breathe, baby, breathe.
Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune in to On the Ball, a weekly talk show which is on winnfm 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Biff Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On the Ball with Troy Biff Mills on winnfm 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball.
Hot in the club, rock in the club, rock in the club, oh yeah. Hot in the club, rock in the club, rock in the club. Ah damn, it's getting hot in the club. Thousands of females back in the club, bouncing to reggae and hip hop in the club. Don't forget the liquor roots rock. Ah damn, it's getting hot in the place. Feel how the bassline thump in your face. Watch how the girls gyrating them waist. Oh, what a reggae feeling. Ah damn, throw your hands up and signal the plane like you're feeling insane. And what? Keep those hands up. Cause we up in the club and I listen rubber dub and everybody get worked up. And I go down the wing and I go down the flank like Zidane. Playing the World Cup. Just dance, let me see you show your hand. Ah damn, it's getting hot in the club. Millions of females back in the club, bouncing to reggae and hip hop in the club. Don't forget the liquor roots rock. Ah damn, it's getting hot in the place. Feel how the bassline thump in your face. Watch how the girls gyrating their waist. Straight back till the morning. Ah damn, keep it bouncing, bouncing. Cause the girls just a bubble at the place like a wall, like a wall, like a wall, like a fountain. And they make me sing and grow from a pebble to a stone to a rock to a what to a mountain. And the way them girl are nothing at the club, they make me can't stop counting. This is all night outing. Ah damn, it's getting hot in the club. Thousands of females back in the club, bouncing to reggae and hip hop in the club. Don't forget the liquor roots rock. Ah damn, it's getting hot in the place. Feel how the bassline thump in your face. Watch how the girls gyrating them waist. Oh, what a reggae feeling. Ah damn, throw your hands up. Ah damn, throw your hands up. Ah damn, throw your hands up. Hands up, way up to the sky. Ah damn, keep those hands